Hello everyone, how you all doing? I am International Passport here again for yet another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about real estate, getting started in real estate, how easy it is for the average person to get into real estate, what you need to do. Before I get David to introduce himself, I do want to say shout out to my old subscribers for the support over the years. And shout out to my new subscribers for joining the international passport movement. It is greatly appreciated. In the meantime, brothers, feel free to hit the like button, comment, super chat, and of course share to support the international passport movement. I have a very special guest here today called David Najira. David wrote a comment on one of my videos a couple of weeks ago telling me that he also does things in real estate and wanted to come on my channel to explain real estate to simple terms for brothers looking to increase their wealth and knowledge and income. How are you doing, David?
Hey, International, I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I am doing well. Thanks for reaching out and joining the stream. David, tell us a bit more about yourself, who you are, what you do, and then we'll go on from there. And I will begin asking you questions regarding real estate.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So, just a little bit about myself. I do watch quite a few travel and red pill videos on YouTube. So, that's probably why the almighty algorithm recommended me one of your videos a couple months back. Um, Now, what I had done about 4 years ago is actually bought a house here in San Diego, California. Now, I know you may have some international viewers. San Diego is about 2 hours away from Los Angeles. It's pretty expensive cities for housing here. Not quite as expensive as Los Angeles, but pretty close. So more recently, I actually rented out the entire house. So after expenses and all that, I'm cash flowing about $1,000 per month. So I'm hoping, just like how I commented on that video from last week, I think it was JP's video on real estate. I just wanted to provide my experience and also give some advice too for anybody who's looking to get into real estate. Because I will say that being 26, it's often hard to, well, I should say, it's like kind of sad that there aren't more people my age who are getting into real estate. And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them being is that they're just it's hard to find information on it, especially information that's digestible and provides you with some actionable steps. So hoping to provide that for everybody here today.
Fantastic, David. Make sure you speak a little bit louder as well, David, just so everyone gets to hear you clearly,
Okay,
David.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, so let's get into it, David. So, how did you get into real estate? And while you explain that, can you explain to us how the average man, the average person on my channel can get into real estate in
Yeah,
simple
absolutely.
terms? Go
So
on.
I was pretty lucky. My father, he actually got into real estate while I was pretty young. So growing up, I was able to see what he did and kind of see examples, and that made it pretty easy to follow along. Now, to be specific, what he did is he rented out rooms in the house. So we've always had spare rooms in our house. One, two, three um, spare rooms, and he'd rent them out for extra income. Now, what that did is that enabled him to save money a bit faster. And so I have quite a few memories of, even from a young age, every couple of years moving into a newer house. And with each new house, it would often get bigger and in a nicer area, and often have more rooms and more space to add rooms to. It's funny because I even have a lot of memories too of bringing home friends after school, and we would just be chilling in the living room, just hanging out, and they'd see a tenant walk past by, to go use the bathroom or whatever, and they'd look at me and they'd be like, "Who is that? Like, do you just have a random person living with you?" And I always have to explain to them, exactly what my father did, and from that it was pretty easy to see that not many people do that kind of a thing. And so I learned later on that what he was doing was actually a name for it. It's called house hacking, and I'll mention that in more detail later on too. But um, essentially, I was exposed to real estate investing at a pretty young age. So what that did is it it showed me how to focus my efforts uh, to make it so I can get a house as soon as possible. Um, so maybe I can start with my first job. So I started working at the age of 18, and I was making minimum wage, 20 hours a week. So I was take home pay. I was probably taking home about $500 to $600 a month for 3 years straight. And so, just doing the math on that, but still living at home, of course. I wanted to stay home and save money before moving out, just because I know that rent, takes up a big chunk of your budget. So if you can stay home, if you're fortunate enough to have parents, or at least a living situation where you can do so, I highly recommend taking advantage of that. Um, if you want to see how much money you can save, just multiply your monthly rent times 12, and that's essentially like the amount you could be putting towards a down payment in just a couple of years there. So yeah, going back to my first job, that's just to show you how for the first 3 years of me working, I was saving 90% of my money. And I really wasn't making much at all. That was legit minimum wage. I think that must have been like $8 an hour back in the day. And so at the end of that 3 years, I think I might have worked another couple months at Costco, another couple months at a rental car company. But essentially, I'd saved up $30,000 just by doing that, by being frugal and saving the vast majority of my money. And so I had also talked to a mortgage broker, and that's something I would suggest too for somebody who's looking into. They want more of the details of what's required in order to get a house, is to talk to a mortgage broker. And for anybody who doesn't know, a mortgage broker or a mortgage bank it's just like a bank, like any other kind of bank, except they specialize in giving out mortgages. So of course you can go and talk to your JP Morgan, your Wells Fargo, and you can get a mortgage through them. I don't have experience with that, but I would recommend going to specifically to a mortgage broker, because just because that's what they specialize in. So I think they can probably help you out a bit more in that regard. So I'd done that fairly early on, maybe a couple of years after working. I talked to a mortgage broker. I just happened to know one too, just so I can get an idea of what's required, and maybe I can go over that right now. So this is, at least in America, this is specifically what's required to get a house. You're going to need your down payment, a decent credit score, and by decent credit score, that's anywhere from like 600 to 650. It really doesn't have to be super high. You don't have to have like a 700 or 800 score to get a house. You might get a little bit of a better rate, but it's not going to keep you from getting a mortgage. The other thing that you're going to need is a letter of pre-approval. So that's essentially when you go talk to a mortgage broker. They take copies of all of your paperwork just to show that you are eligible to buy a house. They give you that letter. You take that letter to a real estate agent, and then from there they take you house shopping. Now, as far as what you need for that letter of pre-approval, they're going to need to check your work history. So as long as you've been working for a couple of years, that can work. But it's also going to depend on your mortgage broker too. See, I didn't learn this until recently, but not every mortgage broker or bank or anybody who gives you a mortgage is going to require exactly the same things. So that's why it helps too to talk to a couple of them, not just one, because you can find one that has more lenient requirements and that may even help you out. Of course, you can get better rates too if you do shop around like that. Let's see here.
So I'm guessing that so you're saying you stayed at home for 7 years. You managed to save $30,000 to put on a down payment for a house. So I'm guessing you were looking to buy a property just to rent out for that sole purpose, David. I'm guessing, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah.
And
That helped me out for the home buying process too, is if you know exactly the reason that you're buying a house. For me, exactly like you said, it wasn't to live in. Primarily, it was to rent out rooms.
okay, so you were able to buy that property. So at the same time, while you were renting out, okay, tell me what you did with that property. So you rented out the rooms, and were you also paying the mortgage for the property every month while also making money through renting? Speak on that,
Yeah,
David.
yeah, that's exactly it. So going back just to the property search, I was looking specifically for the house that had the most number of rooms, but that I could still afford it. And so And so here in San Diego, it's hard to find anything that's reasonable for more than 2 or 3 bedrooms. But I ended up finding a 4 bedroom house in my budget. It's just that it was in the ghetto. um, and I have some stories about that too. I saw somebody get shot by my house, but maybe I can say that a little bit later on. Um, but yeah, so I found a 4 bedroom house. I was living in it at the time, so I moved in and I was renting out the 3 other bedrooms. So that paid for the bulk of my mortgage. I think at the time my mortgage, and I want to be very detailed with the dollar amounts and the figures too. So if you have any questions about what the specifics were, feel free to ask, and I can tell you that. But at the time, my mortgage was $2,400, and so each room I rented out for 600. So that was $1,800 of the $2,400 mortgage that was covered just from renting out the rooms. And
Wow.
so, but that was so that's part of house hacking. Is if see so let's say I was to buy the house, and then immediately just rent out the house. I If I were to have done that, I probably would have pulled in about $2,000. So it would have covered the bulk of the mortgage, but not all of it. But by renting out all of the rooms, or 3 of the rooms, I should say, I still got to live in it while still making most of that money. So that essentially is one form of house hacking. When you rent out individual rooms as opposed to renting out the house as a whole, you're able to pull in a bit more money that way.
Were you
Now,
also living in the property while you're renting it out as well?
that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Just like how I'd mentioned previously, my father did it, with me, my family growing up, as we're living in the houses. Any spare bedrooms that he had, he also rented those out. So yeah, like you said, while I had those rooms rented out, those other 3, I was living in the 4th bedroom.
And did you experience any safety issues, any bad tenants? Because we have to also speak about that. Not everything is all rosy in living in a place where your tenants also living as well. Did you experience any bad experiences? People not paying their rent on time? Any threats while you're also living as a landlord in that property?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a great question. I have a ton of stories. To make it short, most of my tenants were perfectly fine. Um, Now, I do want to talk about the concern for them paying rent, because of course, before I bought a house and started renting out the rooms, or yeah, renting out the rooms, I thought that'd be a pretty big concern too. People, turning up to rent, but then eventually they stop paying. One of the things I learned by actually doing it, that's actually something you can put way down on your list of concerns. Uh, you know, as it turns out, people like living where they live. And when it comes to their expenses, they know that rent is going to be there every month, so they make it a priority on themselves to pay that rent. So as far as people not paying rent, I've never had that particular problem, and um, that's due in part to most people just paying their rent. It's not as big of a thing as you might think it is, people not paying, but it's also due to the fact that I'm pretty picky when it comes to picking tenants too. So as long as you use a good, as long as you have a reasonably good judgment of character, you can pick people who are going to be paying their rent on time.
So, what are your criteria for picking a good tenant?
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's nothing concrete, I would say. Of course, it's just going to be that they have a job, they have references from previous employers, references from previous landlords as well. But mostly what I go off of is just if like, okay, so actually, let me put it this way. So when I put the ad on Craigslist, I have the actual ad, but at the bottom of the ad, instead of just giving away my phone number, I give that away, but I tell them to leave me a message, to leave me a voicemail. The reason I do that is because somebody can text you or email you, but it's really hard to get a feel for what they're like unless they actually speak to you. So the reason I have them leave me a voicemail is, one, to save time, so I'm not answering all these calls, but it's also because I can hear them explain about themselves, uh, you know, uh, over a call, and that gives me like a really good reference for what they're like. Um, but of course, that's part of the screening process. Now, let's say I do end up liking them, and it's pretty rare too. Out of like maybe 10 people who call and leave a voicemail, as it turns out, most people don't even leave a voicemail. They don't like doing that. So that's a good way to weed them out. But out of ten people who might leave a voicemail, I might be interested in like maybe 2 or 3 of them. So it's pretty picky. It does take a little longer getting tenants, but it's a more sure way of ensuring you don't have as much headache going forward. So yeah, it's mostly just an overall personal judgment. Other than that, it's just the fact that they're working and making enough money. That's pretty much it.
Okay. And did you have like a property management doing that for you, or those checks, or were you actually doing everything yourself, David?
Yeah, I was doing everything myself, and I had practice with that too. Sometimes my dad would have us show the rooms, have us be part of the process too for when we were renting out the rooms at uh, my family home. So I was able to get advice from him too. But I can just summarize, what um, I guess. I'm sorry. Could you ask your question again?
Yeah, sorry, did you have any property management do things for you, like handle the property, advertise a property for you, like property
Gotcha.
management companies do?
Yeah. So no, but that's because I kind of already knew how to do all that stuff. Um, yeah, there are a lot of people who are interested in using property managers, but essentially it helps to know exactly what they do in order for you to understand if you really want to hire one or not. Essentially, what they're going to do is, they'll list your place. They sometimes they have their own pages. A lot of them use Craigslist too. But essentially, wherever they're posting their ads, you could post them too. So that's acquiring the tenant. That's a big chunk of what they do. But keep in mind that when you're doing that, they don't have as much as an incentive to pick a good tenant as you do. They have much more of an incentive to just get a tenant in there. So that's why I caution people against using them because nobody's going to manage your assets as well as you are, even if you're inexperienced. I just suggest just getting that experience on your own. Even with a property manager, there can still be headaches too. So I don't want people to think that just as you get a property manager, it's going to be super easy. You're not going to have to do anything or worry about anything because that's not the case.
So, how were you advertising your property? Was it through a specific website? Was it buying newspaper ads? Was it, yeah, how did you go about advertising the property for people to find out, oh, it's available to rent?
Just Craigslist. I did experiment with putting an ad in because San Diego is near a military base, so I experimented with putting an ad in the Navy news page, and I got a couple of callbacks, but it wasn't worth it for even the $5 I had to pay. So just using something free like Craigslist that works plenty well enough.
Type that in the live stream chat if you can.
I'm sorry.
Can you type it in the live stream chat, that website you said, Frexit or something?
Oh, Craigslist. Yeah.
Oh, Craigslist. Oh, okay, I see. Awesome. Okay, going on from there.
Hmm.
So for one of my subscribers in the year 2021, they've managed to save up, let's just say, $30,000. We
Yeah.
know 2021 is a different time than it was 5 years ago. Properties are a lot more expensive. You
Right.
would
Right.
recommend them to buy a property to rent out and to make money every month off the rent. Where are there any places in America, even around the world, where you can buy cheap property? Like, I don't know how much you said you put down £30,000 as a down payment for the house. So I'm
No, that's just
assuming
how
the
much I
house
saved. My down payment was more like 14, 15,000.
14, 15,000.
Yeah.
Okay. How much was the property worth?
At the time when I bought it, it was worth 380,000. So 14 to 15,000. That was the minimum down payment, which was like 3.5 or 4%.
Oh, okay. So we know that that property is probably worth £600,000, $600,000 now, based on
Wow,
how
you
high.
nailed it.
Yeah, oh, is it?
According to Zillow, yeah, it's worth exactly $600,000. That's right.
Yeah. So based on how real estate is going more expensive, so that can actually price out a lot of brothers. Um,
Yeah.
are there any other places in America, the best places in America to buy property?
So there's a few things on that. To answer your question, yes. Now, kind of to going back to your point about how there's a lot of expensive real estate, which there definitely is, um, especially in big cities, which most people live in big cities. There is something you can do, which is it's called getting a cosigner, and as long as you have somebody you're close to, ideally a family member who's willing to sign off on your loan, you can use their income and yours combined to qualify for a mortgage. But of course, as long as you're paying for the house, and so as long as you're paying for the house, and especially if you have renters who are helping you pay for it, it's going to show them that you can definitely pay for it. So that is one route. Now, going back to other areas where you can buy property where it's cheaper, absolutely, yeah. Basically, just get outside of a big city. Generally, prices are going to be cheaper. So in the States, it's going to be well, even here in California, in smaller cities, it's pretty expensive. But if you go pretty much in the middle, if you stay out of the East and the West Coast, especially Texas, anywhere in the middle of the country, it's going to be a lot more reasonable. I want to say prices there are going to average more like 250, 300, $350,000. So that's what I that's actually what I was going to do. If for whatever reason I wasn't able to, if I wouldn't have been able to buy a property here in San Diego, I was fully prepared to go and buy a property somewhere else for that exact reason. It's just because it's so worth it.
Well, awesome. Um, so coming on from that, David. What about, so that was your first introduction to property investing. Obviously, you want to expand, you want to make more money and become more bigger in the real estate market. What did you do next after buying that first property? Did you look to buy an apartment complex, a whole building? Speak on that.
No, I will actually only have that one property. I'm looking to buy another one next year in Texas, but yeah, as of right now, I just have that one. And but to answer your question, I do have an actual answer for that. Part of house hacking is it's not just renting out rooms. There's other ways that you can do it. Like another way you can think of house hacking is adding value to your property. And so this is something that differentiates real estate from stocks. For example, say you buy a stock, there's nothing you can really do to make it make more money for you, right? It kind of just does its thing. With real estate, though, there are different things. One of the things that I mentioned is either renting out individual rooms for more money than you would renting out the whole house. Another thing that I did is I converted the one car garage that came with the house. I converted that into a studio apartment. So it's basically it's a decent sized room, but it has its own bathroom and little kitchen too. And so um, the reason I did that is obviously because you can generate much more money from that than you would lose by not having that as a garage.
Oh,
So
okay. Carry
so
on.
yeah, especially in an area like San Diego where housing is in such demand, it's going to make you like money. Like that, converting that into a studio, it costed me somewhere between 17 and $20,000. So it definitely wasn't cheap. But I'm renting out that room for $800 a month. So that paid itself off in less than 2 years.
Did you
And
say it's between 700, sorry, between 7,000 to what
oh,
dollars?
I in order to have it converted,
Yeah.
yeah, I paid it between 17 and $20,000.
Okay. That's not bad. If you, yeah, you got your return back. Um, so
Exactly. Yeah.
have you fully paid off the house yet? Or are you still paying it off every month?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. I actually refinanced. I think about a year ago. No, 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 no. More recently, it was maybe like early the summer. I refinanced, and essentially what that means is, um, so your property goes up in value over time, right?
Hmm.
So when you refinance, it's essentially getting another loan to pay off the old one. So when you do that, it kind of restarts the mortgage process. Normally a mortgage is 30 years. So after I refinance, it's actually going to be another 30 years from that day. So essentially, I'll have it paid off in 30 years. Now, there's a couple of reasons you'd want to refinance. One is to capitalize on that increase in value that your house or property goes up in value or has gone up in value. Um, no, you can do that. Most people choose to take out money from their house and they'll go buy cars or do something dumb with it. Now, another thing you can do is refinance in order to get a lower down payment, which is what I chose to do. So I refinanced using the fact that my house, went up in value so much, and so that took my mortgage from $2,400 to $2,000. So essentially, $400 a month that I'm able to pocket. Um, and I guess to go over the numbers too. Um, so I was renting out, the converted garage for 800, and then each of the rooms for 600. But after moving out, now I'm renting out. I'm calling it's kind of like a 2 unit where it has the main house is 1 unit and then the garage is a second. So the garage is pulling in 800, and the main house itself that's pulling in 2600. So combined,
When you say main house, is that so you said so you moved out of the property itself, right? You live by
yeah,
yourself, I'm guessing. So I'm
yeah,
guessing you're renting yourself somewhere else, right?
yeah.
Or
I'm
are
living
you
with my
with
parents,
parents?
so yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, living with parents. Okay, so
right.
you probably paying very small rent or paying nothing at all, which is
I,
good.
I take the trash out, so yeah.
Right. So in that case, so now the room that you were living in, you're renting that
Mhm.
out. What about the living room and that as well, and the kitchen? So explain to us all the rooms in your property, the living room, how many bathrooms you have, how many kitchens you have, and what the living room is for. Is that also a room, or is that where everyone comes in to mingle? Speak on that.
Good question. Yeah. So when I was living there, um, it was like if the renters wanted to hang out there, they could hang out in the living room. But essentially, the tenants just had access to their room and the kitchen. Um, Now to answer your question about how many bathrooms and bedrooms there were, it was a it was a 4 bedroom house with 2 bathrooms, one upstairs, one downstairs. But after converting the garage, it's now essentially a 5 bedroom with 3 bathrooms because the studio garage has its own bathroom too. Did that answer your question?
Yes, yes. So the living room is where all the tenants can mingle as well, right? Is that what you're saying? They can.
Well, back
It's
then,
all
yes.
shared. It's all
Back then,
shared.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But now that I'm renting out that, instead of just renting out individual rooms, now because I'm renting out the whole house, now it's just whatever that tenant decides to use. So instead of having what is it, 4 plus 1? Instead of having 5 separate tenants, I just have the one in the garage and the one who's renting out the main house with the 4 bedrooms.
Oh, okay. So you're saying right now
Hmm.
the living room is also rented out as well to someone.
Exactly. Yeah, because I mean it's just part of the house. It's like if you rent out a house, you get the living room too. You get the living room and the other 4 bedrooms that comes along with it.
Oh, okay. So as of current, that David, that old house is being rented to one person, and they're paying for each room. Or sorry, maybe I'm getting confused here. So you've got 4 rooms.
Yeah.
You got 4 different people living in each of those 4 rooms. You got a garage that's being rented out. The living room, is that also being rented out for one person to use only, or is that shared amongst all tenants?
Oh, okay. I think I know where the confusion is coming from because back when I was living in the house, I was renting out the rooms individually. But now that I moved out recently, I rented out the house as a whole.
Oh,
So that's why I call it a 2 unit. You have the whole house. I essentially call that 1 unit, and then the garage is like the second unit.
oh,
Does that
okay.
make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's actually being rented out to 2 people now.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
in the main house, it's like a whole family, but I consider it one tenant. This is only one person I gotta deal with. If that makes sense.
oh, I see, I see, I see. When you were also living in that property as well, were
Hmm.
you also mingling with the tenants? Like, although they're paying you money to live in the whole property, were you speaking with them? Were you actually hanging out with them in the living room, sharing things with them in the kitchen, the bathroom? Speak on that.
Yeah. You know what? That's actually a really good question. See, for me, I didn't think about the dynamics all that much because growing up in it, I kind of knew how it was. But for somebody who's never thought about renting a house or renting a room to somebody in their house, um, I mean, essentially, you do whatever you want. You can talk to them, you cannot talk to them. It kind of depends. As far as how I interacted with them, yeah, I mean, if I came downstairs and they were downstairs, cooking dinner or whatever, yeah, just say hi, say what's up. I got along with my tenants pretty well. I there were a few times where even we would make dinner for each other too, and I'll just kind of sit down together. Um, so I mean, if you're renting out rooms to people, you get to pick who you rent to. So you might as well pick somebody who you think you might have a chance getting along with.
Nice. This is great information. Brothers, feel free to Brothers, please hit the like button and also feel free to super chat any questions you have for David and to support the channel. I'll be open up the phone lines in 10-20 minutes while David explains all the real estate action. This is fantastic. Okay, so so I I think I get a feeling as to how you've done your property investing. You've actually bought a house to let, to rent out. So that's how you've done
Exactly.
your property investment, which is a good idea for brothers to do that as well. In terms of actually saving up, would you say it's based on how much the property is? But is there an average amount of money that you should actually have just to buy any property? Is it $20,000? Is it $25,000? $15,000? What's your suggestion on that, David?
Well, first of all, you're asking you're asking all the right questions. I have another note about that too, about exactly how much money you want to save up. Uh, I think a lot of times people see they can calculate the down payment because they know that's going to be just a percentage of the house that they want. But there's a lot more to it than the down payment. The down
Mm,
payment is going to be your biggest expense for sure. But apart from that, you're going to want to keep in mind some other expenses too. So of course, there's the closing costs, the costs to actually buy the house. You pay the mortgage broker, the real estate agent, all that. It's going to be a couple $1,000s here and there. Um, Another thing you're going to want to consider too is home improvements. Now, with any house you buy, even if you're paying a lot of money for it, it's going to need some kind of work. So you got to keep that in mind. You have to budget some money for some kind of some kind of home improvements, especially if you're going to be renting it out. If you're going to live there on your own, it doesn't quite matter. You can live in it in whatever state it is. But if you're going to be renting it out, and you want to have good quality tenants, meaning you're going to have your pick of them, you're going to want to fix up the house at least a little bit. So I'll give you an example. Um, Now, when I bought my house, another thing I was looking for is, of course, it's not a fixer upper. It's not something where I'm going to have to be tearing down walls just to get into decent condition. So the house I bought, it was built in the 70s, 1972, I believe. Nothing majorly wrong with it. Decent paint, decent kitchen, decent bathrooms. Nothing fancy. The one thing that it did have that was kind of ugly was the flooring in the downstairs. It had like some really like outdated 80s like ugly ugly
mhm.
broken. Well, it wasn't broken, but it was just like off like yellowish off white kind of color. And so I saw the house looks decent, but I knew that if I were to buy it, the only thing I really need to do to make it look a whole lot better is just to redo the downstairs flooring. So that's what I did after. That's the first thing I did after I bought the house. I installed new it's called laminate flooring. No, not laminate. Luxury vinyl plank (LVP). So if you are thinking about doing new flooring, I highly recommend that. It's not wood, it's not laminate, it's actually plastic, but it looks and it feels just like wood. So the benefit of that is you can use it everywhere in the house. You can use it in the kitchen, in the bathrooms. You're not going to have separate tile in there, so that's helpful. Um, another thing too, and this is going to segue to another point that I wanted to make about contractors, is I actually ended up doing it myself too. I Before I moved into the house, I was absolutely not a handy person, um, but I tried to hire somebody to do it, and he kept giving me the runaround, and I decided instead of spending all this money to pay for somebody who doesn't even want to do it, why don't I just give it a shot? So I just looked up some videos on YouTube and I ended up doing it myself. Probably took 2-3 weeks, something like that, and it was not easy, but it was very satisfying at the end, and I did probably save a thousand or $2 or $1 or $2,000 just by doing it on my own.
What did you do by yourself then?
Installed the flooring in the
Oh,
downstairs. Yeah,
wow.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
To
That's that's crazy. Jeez.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
so like
I
I said,
respect.
the
Mhm.
downstairs flooring with that old tile, that was probably the ugliest part of the house. So
Mm.
just by doing new flooring, you're able to get better pictures for your Craigslist, your ads, wherever you choose to post your ads, and that means that you're going to get a lot more people applying or responding to your ad, and you're going to be able to be a lot more picky with who you do pick. So you're going to get people interested in it sooner. You're going to get better quality people who want to rent it, and then like I said, you're going to be able to be more picky and pick the people who you feel comfortable. Especially if you're going to be living with them, you do want to be extra picky too.
Okay. This is great information so far. Hmm. Very good. So you're definitely right. When you want to buy property, you should save more than you need for the down payment. So if the down payment is £20,000, may be a good idea to have £35,000 because you do want to have expenses to improve the property pay for legal costs, a surveyor, and all that stuff. And even you may actually want to have like maybe 5 months mortgage payment as well, just so you're covered for 5 months. So if anything happens to your job where you have no income, you have 5 months to continue paying off your mortgage while you look for a new job. Plus, you're getting money from your rental property, and then you still have some income to actually support yourself. Wouldn't you say so?
That's right. Essentially, the more money you're able to save up before you buy a house, the better your offer you're going to be. Even with the $30,000 that I saved, I was cutting it close in the first year or so, I'd say. So yeah, you're at least at the bare minimum, you're going to feel more comfortable too. You're going to have more of a margin. So yeah, I just mentioned home improvements. The last thing too that you want to account for is not just home improvements, but like regular maintenance too. Especially if you're buying an older house, like mine's from the '70s. I think it was about a year ago. I had to pay for a new roof. So but things have gone out on me. I've had to replace the water heater. I've had to to repair patches in the roof from when it did fail. The little things here and there. Um, but yeah, I would
Fantastic.
say like if you're gonna buy a house, essentially you want to target for like $20,000 minimum. But yeah, it's more like $35,000 to be more safe, I would say.
Fantastic. I know you have a few pointers you want to bring up as well, but before we do that, and before I open up the phone lines, I'm very upset that we don't have a lot of viewers watching this, but we have a lot of viewers watching the women live streams or something like this that will actually help you travel, benefit your life. Very little live stream viewers. Very upset, brothers. This is just not good. Like, especially if you're in America, things are easy for Americans. There's a lot more opportunities there for Americans. In the UK, it's so hard to, you know, have a side hustle, make money from something that's not a job. Which is why you see I have cash out problems. Because why do I have cash out problems? They look to always try and financially restrict people in the UK from making any additional money. Just rely on your jobs. It's very frustrating. But if you're an American, this kind of intel is definitely for you. A lot of brothers have good jobs. Don't just have that money in your savings. Look to invest in real estate, stocks, and crypto, particularly real estate where everyone needs somewhere to live in. But brothers, it's up to you. I can't control what you like or what you don't like. Shout out to Yamar Bar for the $10 super chat. He says, thanks, IP, for putting the stream together. David, you have a 30-year mortgage, but is your plan to sell as soon as possible? Speak on that, David.
Yeah, that's also a good question. I've gone back and forth about it while I've owned the house. Whether I wanted to just sell it, get rid of it, or just keep it. Now, the answer to that, for what the smart thing would be to do, is to just keep it. Like I said, that's $1,000 that I'm getting every month. If I were to ever sell it, yeah, I would be taking home uh, a good chunk of change from that equity from the house going up. But it's going to keep going up. So why would I sell it if it's going to keep going up? Essentially, same reason you wouldn't want to sell a good stock either. Is if it's good, you just hold on to it. It's going to keep making you money, especially more and more as time goes on.
That's a good point there, especially if you're in a place like California where it's literally the state where a lot of media things happen. So in my opinion, David should always have tenants there because there's always filming happening in California, some sort of media happening there. So if people need to rent out a house to film a TV show or a movie, they'll ask David. David can actually ask for higher costs than he usually has, and he'll get it because again, movie studios have unlimited budgets, which is good. If I was also American, I would look to invest in Texas. Although David said it would be expensive, but if you have the money, invest in property in Texas because guess what? A lot of companies from California are moving to Texas. Therefore, it means that employees are moving to Texas as well. They will need property to live in. So before the whole movement goes full force, look to invest in Texas if you have money. I know a lot of brothers on my channel have the money. They have a lot of money. So again, don't just rely on your savings. It depreciates over time. Look to invest your money. This is great live stream so far. So Aaron, sorry, David, I know you have a lot of notes. there's a lot of things to real estate investing that I haven't asked questions because I don't really understand it that much. But if you can just speak more about important aspects of real estate, positives, what to look out for, anything I've missed out on, how to get started as a brother to make sure that you can make money off it, that would be great. But before you do that, hold on. Shout out to Wealth Engineering for the $10 Canadian super chat. Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. He says, I live near a spot where lots of movies and films. What? I live near a spot where lots of movies are films, and the producers have to pay the city for permission to shoot, and the owners get a piece of that cash. Facts. So if you're a brother that owns property around those kind of spots, they need houses to film movies and films. You are literally set for a very long time if you earn a property there. So shout out to Wealth Engineering for that. So carry on, David, and speak more about important things.
Yeah, absolutely. So, going back to your point about buying where they film movies, I would apply that same logic to basically anywhere where there's a big city, because what brings people to cities are jobs. So that's why big cities are so expensive. It's because they have jobs. It's because so many people want to move there, so that increases that demand. Now, I guess you can kind of separate housing in big expensive cities from housing in smaller or cheaper cities. Now, if you are getting started, maybe it's going to take you a long time to save up that $20,000. Maybe you want something cheaper. In that case, I'd recommend going to you don't have to move, but you can just buy a house in a cheaper city, and then from there, do a bit of house hacking. As it is, your equity is going to go up over time, so you can kind of use that to leapfrog. And then after you have some equity, some income coming in, you can then go and try to buy a house in a bigger city too. That's a good strategy that can work. Now going back to my notes, no, I mentioned that the contractor that I tried to hire to do my flooring. So when it comes to dealing with the house, I mean, believe it or not, the hardest part was not getting the house, was not you know the tenants. The hardest part for sure was dealing with the contractors. Anybody who has some kind of skill to work on a house that you can't do yourself, they have a lot of leverage over you. That's for sure. I will say, if you're thinking about becoming a thief, don't become a contractor. You can do it legally. Um, so I have quite a few horror stories. One of the worst ones I would say is the roof repair that I had to do. Going back about 2 years, I started having leaks on my roof. So I hired somebody. I just went for the cheapest guy who was out there, to come out and do it. And he did a botch job. I paid like 6 grand for him to do his thing. Didn't work. He built like a second roof on it. Essentially, I had to end up hiring a professional to go undo his work, and then also to replace the roof and do the job that was supposed to have been done. So when
Did
it
you get
comes to hiring,
did
Mhm.
you get your money back?
No, I didn't even try. Yeah, it was just a guy with a van, pretty much. I didn't even try to get that back. I kind of just chalked it up to a loss.
Okay, yep. Carry on. So I caught you there.
No worries. Yeah, if you have any questions, yeah, feel free to ask along the way. So yeah, I had to do the the proper job the second time around. I think I ended up paying about 12,000 for that too. So all in all, quite a bit of money. So I will say this when it comes to picking your contractors. When it comes to cosmetic stuff, like maybe painting or something that is just essentially just cosmetic, you can hire people who are cheaper because the type of work that they do isn't so crucial. But if you're going to hire somebody to do some kind of structural work or some kind of foundation, or you know where they're messing with the structure of your building, in that case, it's you have to go with somebody who's qualified, somebody who's going to charge you more. So that's one note. Now, this is another really important note too, to picking out contractors. This is essentially how you go about picking them. This is what I do. I go on. It's a website that we have here called Yelp. They have contractors on there, restaurants too. Um, now the good thing, of course, is that you can see their ratings. People go and leave feedback on their services. Um, Now, what you don't want to do is go and look for, like, let's say, a painter or somebody. You don't want to be looking at the first page or two of results. Those are the people who are bombarded every day with requests. So they're not going to give you the best service. And well, if they do even want to accommodate you, they're not going to give you the best service. They're not going to give you a decent price. So just go on to Yelp, or yeah, I guess you can go anywhere. You can do this on Craigslist or any kind of listing page. Just skip to the last, or skip a couple of pages. Go to like page 3, 4, or 5, and then from there start searching. You're gonna get much better service that way. Let's see, and of course too, especially when you're dealing with something that you're not familiar with, like essentially if you're buying a house, you're not gonna be familiar with much of anything, like I was. But it helps to get to talk to a few of the service providers. So like for roofs, for example, which is what I did. I talked to maybe a dozen different roofers, and I got their quotes. I got what their their assessment of the situation, and then just by talking to a few different sources, you're able to get a better idea of what it is that what should be done and what you want to have done. You can kind of educate yourself in that regard. Also for pricing too. Of course, if you're getting quotes from all these different people, you can choose to go with the one with the lower pricing, or with who you like better. It gives you more choices essentially. Let's see here.
Fantastic. Carry on.
For contractors, like I said, when it comes to things that you're going to be worried about, contractors is up there. So if you follow that advice, you're picky with your contractors, just like you are with your tenants. You're going to be much better off that way. And of course, don't pay them. Usually they'll charge you like a percentage or half up front. Don't make the mistake of ever paying the full price before they finish the job. You wait until they finish the job before you pay them the rest of the amount or the full amount.
Okay, so I'm guessing you pay a certain amount first, and until they finish the job fully, you pay the rest because they might have done a bad job, and you can explain it to them that the job was bad. Can you fix it, or you're not getting paid?
Exactly. If they do a bad job, or if they don't even return to finish the job, which is very common. That like I mentioned with that thief joke earlier, there isn't much repercussion if it's not a legitimate company. If it's a legit company, they have um, employees and all that. It's not just some dude in a van. You can actually go after them. So another reason to go with them. Um,
Can you actually refuse to pay someone if they do a bad job? But must it be in contract first, like written? Like if the job is not good, if it's not finished, that you won't get your money, because obviously that can cause problems if the contractor is doing a lot of work, even though it's bad work, and he hasn't got paid because you feel like he done a bad job. Can you actually not pay that person? But must it be in contract first, so you won't be liable for any to being sued in court?
yeah, another great question right there. That's if you have a contract. A lot of times you won't. If it's a more professional company, essentially they'll give you, I think it's like an invoice, or yeah, some kind of derivative of a contract. If that's the case, yeah. But if they're doing that, they're also not the ones you're going to be worried about them not returning. If that makes sense.
So
But yeah, if you have it in contract, exactly, you can put specifically what you're looking for in a completed job. That way, if they don't complete that, you can show them and point to that and be like, well, I'd love to pay you the rest of the money, but hey, look at this contract. So yeah, that is another good recommendation too. If you want to drop like even just a simple contract before you hire a contractor, that's yeah, totally a good idea.
but if there's no contract, can you also refuse to pay a contractor the rest of the money because you feel like they've not done a good job?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, Now, if you refuse to pay, or if they refuse to finish the job, um, from there, I mean, I guess the next step would be taking them to court, or them taking you to court, regardless of who's in the wrong. I will say that at least here in the States, I don't know how the courts work in the UK, but in the States, judges are they're pretty good at seeing through the BS. If you have a contract or not, if somebody's doing something wrong, they'll be able to point it out, and that person will likely have to pay.
Okay, because I don't want to speak, and also um, health and safety does come in play here. Let's say you're dealing with a contractor that happens to be dodgy. There could be threats, against your life. Pay me my money, or I'll get my boys after you. I'll harm your family. Does that happen as well?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't help that they know where you live, so I can see that why that would be a concern.
Yeah.
But if they're threatening you, I mean, that's something you can report right away. So they essentially lose that argument, you know, which you should take it to court at that point. Um, Yeah. I can't imagine that being the case though. It's very unrare for it's fairly rare for a contractor to blatantly not finish a job. It's also it would be even more rare for them to to threaten you if you don't pay for a finished job. Because if you're not paying for a job, there's likely a good reason for it. If you're not paying for it and there's no good reason, they're most likely going to threaten you. They're going to try to go about it some legal way.
Mm. So I want to move on before I open up the phone lines in literally 5 minutes. And if you have any points, do say it as well, David. So I'm going to say one last question to you. You answer it. And any additional points that you want to add to it, I'll let you say it before I open up the phone lines. I want to move on to entertainment. So let's say you have a property the outside of the property was viewed in a film, right? Do you get paid for that? Do you have any rights for you to take to court saying I did not allow them to actually put the outside of my property in the film? I deserve money for that. Isn't that sort of image rights? Is that also a possibility? So let's say, can a film studio actually come up to you and say, David, we're going to pay you £10,000 just to put the outside of your house in a film. So your house may be in a film, like a panning shot. It wasn't intended, but let's just say they were just recording a character walking down a suburb, and your house happens to be in that film. Do you get paid for that?
I've never heard of that. My guess would be no, but definitely wouldn't be a question for me. I wouldn't know the answer for that.
Okay, no worries. So yeah, David, add in any more points that's important that we need to know.
Let me think here. Well, I kind of wanted to just kind of quickly go over the process for anybody who does want to buy a house. I think it's important to kind of paint a picture of what it's going to be like. So just to take like a minute or two, essentially, you'll go to your mortgage broker first. You can go to a real estate agent first, and then they show you their mortgage broker. But the real estate agent is kind of disposable. You want to choose a mortgage broker because they're the person you're going to be dealing with on the requirements and all that. Plus, you can work with different ones that are going to work with you a bit better. So you start with the mortgage broker. From there, you give them all your documents, your proof of income and all that stuff. From there, they're going to give you your letter of pre-approval. You take that to a real estate agent. They go and show you houses. You look for your house. From there, you put in an offer. And then if it gets accepted, you're going to go into what's called a closing. It's where you just go and you finalize the paperwork, you do your inspections, that kind of thing. And then at the end of it, you get your keys. And that's essentially it. It's pretty simple. It just takes time, honestly. And the closing might take like 3 weeks to a month or something like that. Looking for your house might take like another month. But as far as actual steps, that's really it. And so the hardest part is going to be saving that money, especially for the down payment.
Nice one, David. All right, so let me shout out to Sean Camp for the $499 super chat. He says, David, another good place to find contractors are real estate investment club meetups. That's a tip for you, David, if you want to make a note of that.
Good one, yeah, absolutely.
Sean Camp, are you referring to the meetup.com app or just random meetups that are in the city that are advertised in newspapers? Can you clarify that for us, Sean Camp? But once again, bro, thank you so much for your super chat. Much appreciated.
While he clarifies that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. You want to say something based on that comment?
Yeah. Based on that comment, there is another resource too, called Bigger Pockets. It's a website. It's essentially like a Facebook for real estate investors, and it's one of the few places on the internet where you can go and ask a question, and you're going to get some really good answers. A lot of times from qualified people too. So if you're looking to learn about real estate or answer some specific questions, that's a good place to go to. Bigger Pockets.
Is that biggerpockets.com?
Yeah, biggerpockets.com.
That's the link. That's the website there, brothers. In the chat, here it is, biggerpockets.com. Recommended by David to go on there to ask real estate questions. Brothers, you won't find this information on any other channel. You won't find it in any Manosphere channel. We're trying to make brothers get money, get rich. Let's get this money, brothers. Shout out to David for that recommendation. This channel here is a wealth of knowledge and resource. I want brothers to become rich, become wealthy, and I will do my best to push out content that will allow you to become a rich and healthy man. Shout out to Wealth Engineering for the $2 Canadian for the $2 Canadian super chat. He says, "At David, is cash is cash flow important to you, David?"
Yes, especially because I want to, use that cash flow money to be able to quit my job and live abroad. Yeah, it's very important, but it also depends too on where you're going to be buying your house. Like I mentioned, I differentiate between housing in big cities versus smaller cities. Because in smaller cities where the houses are going to be cheaper, your cash flow is actually going to be greater, believe it or not. The only reason I'm able to cash flow in San Diego, where normally you wouldn't be able to, you'd be lucky to pay off your mortgage, is because of the house hacking. Like because of all the things I did to house hack. That's the reason why I'm able to cash flow the way that I am.
And David, so let me just clarify your situation here, because actually me and David have a stream tomorrow, right, regarding why you're moving to Colombia. So I'll be having it with David Brothers, where David breaks down why he's moving to Colombia, the reasons why he's moving there, first time going there, what made him move to Colombia. But so your situation, David, so you currently live at home with parents, which is great. You're saving money, a lot of money that way.
Yeah.
You own a property, right? But it's not a property that you live in. It's
Right.
simply a real estate property in America that is giving you passive income. Am I correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Now, so that means you have freedom, because that property you bought is for money making purposes only. So you're not really tied down in America, because essentially it's not a property you're living in at the moment. So you just have passive income coming from America. The dollars is a very good economy. So David, how are you? What was my question? Um, ah, Actually, no, we'll save it for tomorrow. Sorry, we'll save it for tomorrow, because I don't want to start talking about Colombia. But I like
Yeah.
that
No
idea.
worries.
I like that idea.
Hmm.
Do you ever see yourself selling that property in the future, after 30 years, after you pay off the mortgage, obviously? Or is it something you want to just pass down to your children, your grandchildren? Speak on that.
If it was in a better neighborhood, I could see myself keeping it forever. Um, yeah, that's essentially the only reason I would think about selling it is it's not the nicest area. Um, now, yeah, as far as when I want to sell it, I kind of have a rough figure in my mind. If I get like $500,000 in equity, um, yeah, just to just so you know, right now it's about 200,000. So I'm almost halfway there. But if it ever gets to 500,000, that might be just because it's a round number. That might be tempting for me to sell it. The thing is, the only reason I would be selling it is, yeah, I guess for the money, but also just to get rid of the headache of managing it. But it's hard to justify that because it really doesn't take much management. When I was living there, yeah, it was a bit more involved. But after having moved out, it's nothing that I really do, honestly. I mean, if anything does happen to it, like there's a leaky pipe, I would be calling somebody anyways to come and fix
Hmm.
that. But essentially, what that looks like month to month of owning a house that I'm renting out is just once a month I get a notification notification from Venmo, which is like Cash App. It just says you've got your deposit of rent, and I get it twice, from one from the tenant in the garage and one from the tenant in the main house. And to give that up doesn't really make sense,
Mm.
especially knowing that I can sell it later on and always get more money. That makes sense.
So, two questions for you now.
Yeah.
When did you actually buy that property? What year? And second question is,
Hmm.
how much are you charging for rent for the garage and for the main house? Of course, with the bedrooms that come with the main house that that person's renting for.
Great question. Yeah, I'll get into my expenses too, just so you have a better picture. But I'm sorry, what was the first question?
First question is, when did you first buy the property?
Oh, that was August 2017. So right
Oh,
about 4 years ago.
okay. I was expecting you to say 2010 based on how cheap it was, but
No,
uh,
real
uh,
estate's been crazy the last few years. I definitely bought it at a good time, right before all this
yeah.
craziness.
Okay. All right. Thanks for answering that. Second question is your expenses. So how much are you charging your tenants in the main room and for the garage? And you can speak more about your expenses as well, income taken out and all that stuff. Go on, David.
Okay, yeah. So for the tenant in the garage studio, um, I'm renting that out for $800 a month, and for the main house, which has the 4 bedrooms, I'm renting that out for $2,600 a month. Um, Now that's a little bit more than it would normally go for, because I'm paying for the utilities, and that almost never happens when you're renting out a whole house. And I just did that, because it makes it easier. I don't have to split the utilities between the tenant in the garage and the tenant in the main house. I just pay it myself and I keep it simple, and I charge that tenant a bit more. So in total, that's from both tenants, that's $3,400 a month. The mortgage after refinancing, like I told you, it went from 2,000 to 24. No, no, it went from 2,400 to 2,000. And so utilities is going to be maybe $300. So $3,400 minus the $2,000 mortgage minus the utilities leaves me with about 1,000 to 1,100 every month.
Oh, okay. So you're making a profit of just over $1,000 a month, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. I want to actually go deep into that, but what do you do for your? I'm guessing, do you work as well, or are you just relying on your property?
No, I work as well. And in order to qualify for the house, I needed to have not just a job, but a job that paid me enough to qualify. So, when I was looking for jobs, that's exactly what I was doing. I didn't care about the kind of job. I just cared that they paid me enough for me to qualify for a house. So that did help with the job search.
So are you in a career at the moment? Are you just working a normal average job? What do you do actually?
That's a good question. I ended up from applying to jobs like that. I actually ended up getting a pretty good job. I work, I guess you can call it like tech support for a software company. So I am able to work online. Yeah, I do work on like the customer service side, but also the back end too. So it's a bit more involved. As far as career, I could stay here and be happy for sure. That we do get raises, every year.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's good. At least you have something stable. So you're making just over $1,000 profit a month, which is, I was expecting more because, so basically, to actually, I feel like you can charge more for your studio place because $800
Uh huh.
in pounds, that's around £600 a month for a studio. That is unheard of in the UK. It's for a studio flat. Very
You're
hard to
right.
find
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. So you're actually that tenant is actually very lucky. He or she is getting a very good deal. Is there a reason why you charge so small for your studio apartment?
That's another good question right there. So market value of that studio or garage studio is probably more like 950, maybe $1,000. Now for the main house, instead of it being $2,600, it's probably more like 2,900, something like that.
Hmm.
So that's all part of the tenant selection process as well. So as I mentioned before, I did a bit of home improvement to make the place as desirable as possible, but I also lowered the price to be under market value too. So that does a few things that makes it so I get more people applying to be tenants, and again I get a better pick of tenants. And then another thing is it so the tenants know they're getting a good deal. They want to stay and be as good tenants as possible too, because they want to keep the place.
Good point. But David, you have to understand that you're in California. California is a tech hub, not only in California, but not only in America, sorry, but in the entire world. And let's speak about your main property as well. 2,600, again, I'm assuming that also that person is also getting those 4 rooms as
Yeah,
well with the
that's right.
2,600. That's very cheap because hold on, if I do 2,600, give me 1 second.
Yeah, take your
Because
time.
$2,600 in pounds is 1,870 a month. To get that, to pay, that's very cheap because for a main room and 4 bedroom in the UK, especially in a state like California, people will be charging around at least £3,000 a month, which would be around £4,000 in dollars in America.
Hmm.
Why is it so cheap? That's a very good deal again for the tenant.
Yeah.
Don't you feel like you can actually charge more?
Well, there is another thing too. the fact that it's in the way that I mentioned, I call it a low income neighborhood.
Hmm.
If you're talking about it to other people, that's the more professional way of saying it. But it's a ghetto essentially. It is a big expensive city, but um, essentially you're not able to charge as high of rents because of that too. So that is another factor. It is a four bedroom, but it's a small four bedroom though. It's got everything you need: your kitchen, dining room, living room. But as far as square footage goes, it's probably the size of like a three bedroom, I should say. So those
Okay.
are all
I
partially reasons why it's cheaper than you would imagine, even though it's a big
and
city.
did you set those prices yourself, or did you get a property surveyor to survey your property and give you the market value of your property, of
No,
your room?
I just chose
Sorry.
those prices myself.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Interesting. This is very interesting.
And, and,
Um,
and that's a good point though. If you're curious to see how much your property or your room for rent or whatever you're renting, if you're curious to see what you should price it at, just go on Craigslist and search what something similar is priced at, and you can kind of do comparables that way.
Fantastic. This has been a great stream so far. I like the stream because it's very different from JP Muscardi's one. I feel like your stream was a lot more simpler. You know, you just have a deposit, buy a property, rent out 4 rooms, live in that property, make money. JP's one was a bit complex, especially with the whole apartment complex. I couldn't really get the answers I wanted from his questions, but this one here is something that I feel like brothers can actually go forth and actually do it themselves. So great on you, David, for breaking it down. Shout out to Wealth Engineering for the $2 Canadian super chat. He says, "At David, what do you think about REITs?" So I think that's real estate stocks or something like that. If you know what it means.
Yeah, well, these are all great questions. Honestly, yeah, I've also looked into REITs too. Now, REITs are for anybody who's not familiar, those are stocks that you can buy. But essentially, they track the profitability of a certain of either a certain real estate company or of an entire real estate sector. Now, there is one from Vanguard called I think it's O, or no, I take that back. I forgot the actual ticker symbol of it, but there is one from Vanguard that tracks the market. Um, the reason I stay away from that or any REITs is just you just look at the charts. For the past year performance, 5 years, however many years, you're going to see that they don't perform as well as the general stock market.
Mm,
Now, I don't know exactly what the reasons are for that. It's in theory, they're very good ideas. They're ways for people to get into real estate without actually having to get into it. But if you look at their returns, they're just not they're not on par with what you can get with a regular indexed ETF. So I generally
mm.
stick with those.
That's a good point there. Out of interest, I'm guessing you invest in the stock market as well. What's your stock portfolio looking like, David?
Yeah, I mean, do you mean what I have in there or what my returns have been, or both?
Both.
Okay. As far as what I have in there, a lot of Vanguard ETFs. Ones that track both the general stock market and also ones that track particular types of stocks and also ones that track particular industries too. So for the ones that track the entire stock market, I recommend. Let me type these out in the chat actually.
Yeah.
Oh wait, do I have the option to do that?
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should be able to type. Oh man. Ah, all right. David's having some technical issues. Let me message him. Dan, stay on the line, brothers. This has been a great live stream so far. There he is back now.
That's my window by accident. Yeah, I don't see where I can type it in through here. I think I might have to go on YouTube, but they're very simple names. I'll just say them out. Okay, so the first one is VOO. Another one is VTI. So these are ETFs from Vanguard that track, just the general market. Actually, VOO tracks the S&P 500, which essentially is the bulk of the market. That's a good chunk of my portfolio, uh, just because you want to be invested in the stock market as a whole. If you're investing in just a particular stock, even if it's a good stock, it's not very diversified. It's more risky. So you can have individual stocks. You just don't want them to be the bulk of what your portfolio consists of. Okay. Now, apart from that, some other Vanguard ones that are pretty good are let's see, VUG, VUG, and VOOG.
VOOG
Yeah, those are both
and
mhm,
VUVUG.
G. Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
So those are both ETFs that track growth stocks. So, if you look at the returns on those two versus the returns on the first two that I mentioned that just track the general market, they're generally going to be higher. They're going to give you a better return. Now, of course, you don't want to have too much of that because there is more downside risk to it. But of course, there's more upside potential too. Now, in the same vein of trying to get more returns, my favorite one that I have that I also have a good chunk in is VGT. VGT. That's a Vanguard a Vanguard tech stock. No, a Vanguard tech index fund. So it's going to have a lot of your big tech companies that tend to drive the market anyways. So it's good to have a good chunk of money in there too. Um, yeah, so the bulk of my money are in those ETFs. You definitely want to be diversified, but you can be diversified in a way that you know is geared to have more growth. That's essentially what I do. Apart from that, I have some individual stocks, but you can just pick your favorites. Apple, Google, Facebook, Fang, all those work too.
What individual stocks you have that you can recommend?
Tesla. If I was going to recommend one, I'd probably go with Tesla. The Fang stocks: Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google. I think that's it. Microsoft. What else? I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, what I just told you was like most, like 90% of my stocks. I forgot the rest of them, but I don't have much money in the other ones anyways. Oh, and a little bit of crypto too. I have like a couple thousand in crypto, but yeah, I do recommend crypto, but it is new. It is risky. The potential for growth is very high. So just buy a little bit. My percentage of what I have in it is like 3%. So you don't want to have too much in it, but a little bit is definitely good.
What crypto coins do you have?
Just Bitcoin.
Okay, good choice. And what have your returns been on the stock market, especially for your ETFs?
The ETFs in particular, I don't know, but like I said, the bulk of my portfolio is ETFs anyway. So my return let me actually pull up my Robinhood so I can give you some exact numbers. I think I've been invested for about 6 years, and since then my return has been 90%.
Oh,
So every year I average about 16%. Of course, more recently it's been higher than that, but yeah, if you want to just go off of my stock recommendations, that's going to do you pretty good. Now, what'll also help too, especially for somebody who's nervous about getting started with stocks, is you don't have to start with the real money. Of course, I recommend starting with even just a little bit of money, 10, 20, maybe $100. But if you maybe just want to play around with some different strategies, maybe you want to have a portfolio that has all Tesla. Maybe you want to have a portfolio that has my recommendations or some other combination. You can do what's called paper trading. Now, I'm guessing most people haven't heard of paper trading, but it's essentially when you're trading, fake money or just simulated money, but you're trading it at real prices. And so as time goes on, you can see what those returns would have been if you put in that kind of money in it. This is actually, they taught us this in high school. One of the few useful things that they taught us in a finance class. There's a specific website. I think it's Simvest, SIMVEST.com, simvest.com. And that's one of those paper trading websites. And there's a lot of them out there, but essentially you go in, if you want to experiment and put money in different kinds of stocks, you have to experiment with different kinds of portfolios, you can do so like that, for free, like I said.
fantastic. Okay, this has been a great live stream so far. I'm going to open up the phone lines. Brothers, please call in, ask David relevant questions. Please be respectful. We respect our guests on my platform. Any questions you have regarding real estate investing, David's your guy for that. So I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. In the meantime, brothers, please feel free to super chat, hit the like button if you've not liked the video already, and support the channel through those means. Fantastic. Um, let's see. Let me pin this to the live stream. So, David, how's your dating life in California?
On pause until I move to Colombia.
It's that bad. I'm guessing it's that bad in California, right?
So I was in a 6-year relationship. Somebody I met from high school that ended, I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. And since then, I've tried dating as an adult, and I got that experience. Um, yeah, there's a reason I'm moving to Colombia. I should say that.
And
it's it.
we will discuss
Uh-huh.
that tomorrow. Let's not give that
Exactly.
away.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shout Wealth Engineering. Let me give out a special shout to Wealth Engineering, right? This brother literally joined uh my channel, started watching my channel, I think around 3 weeks ago, a month ago. It was around the time I did the Fresh and Fit streams, right? Ever
Hmm.
since then, Wealth Engineering has did one stream with me regarding Montreal where he dropped an incredible game about Canadian Montreal woman. And since then, this brother has been consistently supporting this channel through great super chats. He's not super chatting little money. It's always $10, sometimes $15. Wealth Engineering, I appreciate the support you have given to this channel so far, despite you being a new viewer. So I thought I'd give you your props for that, bro. I take a note of people who super chat to this channel ever since I started accepting that in July, bro. You've been a new viewer and you've been super chatting literally since you joined and my channel a couple weeks ago, bro. Salute to you, Wealth Engineering. So he says here for his $10 Canadian super chat. As of now, I am 100% in crypto. Wow, and I am up 712% as of today. Most of my money is in cryptos that are paying me dividend, staking, which also value over time, cash flow value in investing in crypto, and wealth engineering. I have a stream regarding crypto this week. Brother, please call in and break this down further for brothers. This is incredible. That's what I love seeing. This is what I love seeing from brothers making that money through crypto or any other right avenue. Please call in Wealth Engineering on that stream. And can you please break this down for us? If you can't, I'm happy to set up a stream separately to speak about how you do your crypto investments. That's fantastic, bro. Appreciate Wealth Engineering for the super chat and for that comment. Let me bring in. Do you have any thoughts on that, David?
um, I'm sorry, on wealth engineering or his comment
Yeah.
in
Do you have any
particular?
thoughts on that?
No, I think that's awesome.
Mm.
I wanted to, after seeing your discussion with JP on his real estate video, I wanted to do the same, to kind of do my part to help people out.
Yes, and it's much appreciated, David. Shout out to Wealth Engineering again. Let me bring in the legendary J Bones. What is up, J Bones?
IP. What's going on, big bro?
I'm all good, bro. What's going on, J Bones? How you keeping, brother?
Not bad at all, man. I'm coming in clear.
Yes, you're very clear. This has probably been the clearest you sounded in a long time.
I was able to get away from my girlfriend for a few days, so I'm sounding a lot more clear than I usually do.
It's
Yeah,
just crystal clear. Happy you called in, J Bones. How you finding the live stream so far, brother?
pretty good, man. I'm actually up in New Hampshire, checking out some situations up here, um, some possible opportunities. So I'll be here for a few days, and I came to check out also one of my friends is having a wedding, so I just figured since I'm here, I should just navigate the terrain and see what's up.
Mm. Thank you, bro, for calling in. Do you have any questions for David, J Bones? And if you have any input regarding real estate investing, you can also mention that as well after.
Yeah, well, shout out to David. Thanks for being here with us, man. Thank you for coming into our space. Um, it's always good to have everybody come or anybody come up here to give knowledge that's just going to enhance us, especially being so young, because that's what we want to promote. A big margin of IP's platform is a very young space. So welcome to the space first of all, and we're
Thank
glad to
you,
have you
appreciate
here.
that.
Yeah, man. Um,
Sorry, J Bones. Do you hear that cracking sound at all? Is that you
I
or is that me?
I thought that was from you actually, because you be moving around sometimes.
Hold on, let me.
Is that you, David, or I'm
Is
not
that you,
sure?
David?
I think it's you. I didn't start hearing it until you joined, but it's pretty faint though.
Hold on. Yeah, okay, okay. Oh no, I think it shouldn't be a problem. I just wanted to make sure if it was you or me. Oh no,
Okay.
carry on, J Bones. It shouldn't be a problem.
No, no, no. I want to make sure that you have a great stream. Do you still hear it or not?
It's a
It's
lot less now.
yeah, it's okay now.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a lot better.
okay. Okay. Yeah. So sorry about that. I hope that wasn't me. But yeah, David, thanks a lot for joining us. I really appreciate it. Yeah. So you said you lived in San Diego, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's cool then. Yeah. The real estate thing is is very interesting. I'm hoping some of the brothers here are able to jump on it as fast as possible. That's just the best thing. To share information, IP. I don't really delve into American real estate too much, but I know. I'll give you an example. Like I was saying before, I'm the youngest out of seven boys, so all of my brothers just kind of dive into certain things that allow them to retire very early. Because three of my seven brothers, they actually three of my six brothers, they actually retired already, and some of them retired at 36,
Mm,
35, 34. So Joshua, my brother Joshua, actually, what he did is I'm not sure if you're aware, IP, and I don't really know how old David is, but back in the day, Baltimore had been hit by the opioid crisis very, very harsh. There's a lot of drugs and a lot of poison and crack and heroin and all that other garbage stuff was going on over there. So there was like a lot of abandoned buildings, and the state of Maryland was actually giving out money during the Trump administration. The Trump administration was giving out money to open up rehab institutions to kind of help people rehab from drugs and stuff like that. So it's actually a very popular thing in Pennsylvania and also in Maryland. So my brother Joshua, he actually bought, because at the time it was cheap. It was basically like buying a crack house. So he bought a few crack houses and he broke them down and he turned it into an institution for rehab. And the state gave him money for it. So that was pretty much the first. It was like his first route to get to $250,000, and then $250,000 turned to $500,000, and then $500,000 turned to $1 million, and now he dumped a lot of the money into the stock market and he retired early. So as far as the real estate thing, man, I hope the brothers do join in. I do more international real estate. Some of the brothers in here, shout out to Wealth Engineering. He was saying something very interesting about the money that they make in Canada because of the filming. A lot of movies and a lot of what's that thing called? Like a lot of TV shows are actually filmed up in Vancouver and places in Canada to kind of so the studios can curb tax situations to favor them.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah, and I've actually been able to do that myself. Back in the day, I don't know if you remember this movie, IP. There was a movie called The Beast of No Nation from one
Oh,
of yours, Idris
Idris
Elba.
Elba. Yeah.
Yeah, they shot that movie back home in Ghana on one of my next to the land that I purchased. So I was actually
Oh.
able to I was able to actually get a check for that. It wasn't a big check. Yeah, it wasn't a big check because they're paying you in Ghanaian currency, but I was able to get a nice check for it, and I actually used that money to dump into crypto when I was back in the day too.
Oh, nice one, J
Yeah.
Bones.
Yeah, so you boys jump on that the real estate thing fast. You boys get up on that thing fast, man. There's so many opportunities out here, there's a lot of untapped wealth. So try to move around and learn some things really quickly, man, so we can start moving as far as, a lot of the brothers, man, because we're really far behind. We're very, very
Mm,
far behind, and whether black or not, just the young crowd, we're going to be able to get things done very early. David is young himself, so if he keeps at it, I'm pretty sure he's going to be retiring early himself, and I'm pretty sure that's everybody's goal in life to be young and retiring very early.
yes, yeah. A lot of black men are behind in this making money scheme, whether it's
Yeah,
crypto, real estate, stocks. I've noticed that we are really behind, like compared to other racial groups, and we need to make sure we're on the same level, on the same wavelength. So any information you get from anyone, doesn't matter what color they are, where they're from, take it. just be humble, take the information, apply it to your life, because knowledge is important in this world. To know is to thrive and to succeed. So hopefully my channel brothers are getting the relevant intel they get from my live streams. It's not all about women. Again, to travel, you need money. To have a good life, you need money. To move to a different country, you also need money. So hopefully more brothers get into real estate. And I'll be looking into international real estate, reading more about it, because in my previous stream, J Bones, you did mention some good intel regarding international real estate. So I need to go back and watch it again. And I hope brothers did. So thanks for that, J Bones. Much appreciated.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And this is not, this is something that we have to stamp into the video. IP. Really know what's going on with you, with the brothers. It's not something that I expected, but I have to say I'm very disappointed because I showed up to watch it, and everyone shows up to listen to videos about girls, but the stuff that's really important, you're not here.
Yep.
Yeah, it is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. So we can confirm that the majority of you guys are just here to listen to stuff about. See, that's why when I first call in IP, I was saying, I always say this all the time. I get it with the women stuff. I get it. It's cool. But the truth about it is that you guys are just really really cliche at this point. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
if you travel, I traveled a lot. I've been traveling since the 90s with, with my family when I was a kid living back. I used to travel more when I lived in Africa than I travel living here in America. So this is just it's just real plain. You guys are too cliche. This makes no sense at all. Like, I jumped in and I'm like, where's everybody?
Yep.
Like, yeah, where's everybody? Okay, so when we're talking about women and big butts and huge breasts, and then that's when people want to chime in. But when we're talking about how to make money, nobody's here.
It's upsetting.
Very,
I
very,
mentioned it.
very, very disappointed. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
IP. Very disappointed, man. Like, I was looking around and I'm like, am I at the wrong place? Where's everybody today?
Yeah. I mentioned it as well in the first half an hour. I was like, brothers, this is important as well. Where are you guys?
Very
To watch the
important.
video.
This is more important than the other streams that you have.
Mm.
Anything that we talk about when it has to money, this is the most important thing. This is the most important thing, man. Some of you boys are way too cliche. Some of you boys are way too simple, man. It's just the IP is doing a stream about naked women in Switzerland. Oh, let's join in. IP is doing a stream about half black, half Japanese, half Brazilian. Oh, let's join in. But when we start talking about something that actually makes sense, I can't find not one single one of you. This is very disappointing, IP.
Mm. I'll be watching out for my crypto stream as well.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm
Crypto.
ready, bro.
You
I
know,
got pen and paper in my pocket waiting for that one. I'm ready, bro.
because
Yeah.
crypto is it's a young person's game. So there should
Yes,
be
sir.
at least more viewers for that crypto. If not, if no one's gonna join that crypto stream, I'm gonna be very disappointed. But shout out to Jay
Very
Bones
disappointed. Yeah.
for joining, bro. And I'm gonna put you on mute, bro. I'll
Yes,
come at
sir.
you later
Yes,
on, Jay
sir.
Bones.
Thank you,
Let me
David.
bring
Yeah, of course.
let me bring in Sean Camp to contribute to this what the flip to this discussion. I'm tired. What's up, Sean Camp?
Hey, what's going on, IP?
Hey, what's going on, Sean
Hey, what's
Camp?
up,
I'm good,
David?
brother.
Hey, what's up? How's it going?
I'm good too, man. Hey, it's going good, man. Yeah, just curious. Are you thinking about getting some property in Colombia as well when you move down there?
Yeah, another good question.
Um,
I did look into it. Um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
prices there are for sure cheaper than what they are here. But if you want to buy a
Mm-hmm.
property and you're intending to rent it out, your returns aren't going to be anything compared to what you can get in the States or anywhere in Western countries. The returns just aren't there in Colombia at least.
Well, if I was looking more at the aspect of maybe if you got something you can do Airbnb, because a lot to what part of Colombia you moving to?
Medellin. But yeah, like you mentioned, if
Oh,
I
okay.
was going to buy a property,
Yeah.
Airbnb it out would be the only way where it'd be, or economically it would make sense, especially in Colombia because
Yeah.
they've had such a reputation for so long. Their tourism industry is relatively small and new compared to other countries, meaning that you're not going to find a whole lot of big name hotel chains down there. It's going to be a lot of smaller guys out there. So if you do decide to buy a place and Airbnb it out, you will, that is a good way of making money for sure. You're not going to have much competition.
Hey, I got a quick question, and thanks for having me.
Hold on, right? Hold on, Zab. Let Sean Camp finish his questions first. I'll come back to you, Zab. Okay, we have to go one by one. That's how we go on this channel, brother. Okay, carry on, Sean Camp. If you have any more questions.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Because Medellin, I mean, it's perfect for that. I've been down there several times, and
Nice.
that's what I do. I get Airbnbs when I go there. So, yeah, I was just curious about that. If you were going to do that since you were moving down there, and are you looking to get another property in San Diego as well?
Yeah. So because the house prices have risen so much, like I mentioned, I
Yeah.
bought my house 4 years ago for 350,000. Now it's worth 600,000. Great for anybody who owns a property, but for somebody who wants to buy a house here, it's going to be a lot more expensive. I think the
Yeah.
median house price here now is like 800,000. It's pretty crazy. So, I do want to
Oh
buy
yeah,
another
San
property.
Diego is expensive.
Yeah, it's right on par
Yeah.
with Los Angeles for
Okay.
sure. But yeah, I do intend to buy another property. I'm planning either late next year or early the following year, but I'm going to be buying it in San Antonio, Texas. Um,
Oh
house
yeah.
prices there
Oh
are a
okay.
lot more
Yeah, that's a
reasonable.
hot market too.
Exactly,
Oh
good
yeah, and
growth, but still
that's
reasonable
one of the
prices.
fastest growing cities too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
exactly.
that's a good
Close
look
to
right
Austin.
there. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, man.
Is that
Keep
all?
up the good work.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah,
Appreciate
that's
it.
it.
All right. Thanks for that, Sean Camp.
You
Much
welcome.
appreciated, brother. I'll put you on mute. Zab 19AA. Your turn, brother.
Yeah, my question is, what's the startup cost for this? This seems like one of them things where you need money initially to make money. Whereas, if you get a job, you can make money right away with your paycheck. You understand what I'm saying? Because y'all
Yeah.
throwing out big numbers like 200,000 and 800,000. Like the average, I'm a regular dude, man. I don't have like 100,000 to money to play around with like that. And I think that's my only I want to say issue with real estate, but it's like one of them things where it seems like you need a lot of money or like a good amount of money to get going.
Good question.
Right. There's no way around it. Getting into real estate, especially in America, especially in a big city, it's gonna take money for sure. So, like I mentioned, that's the hardest part, is just saving up enough money. It's not just for the down payment; it's for the other associated costs as well. Now, let me actually go back to how I saved up that initial amount. I saved up $30,000, and that's what got me into my house. Only about $14,000 or $15,000 of that was the down payment, though. Um, Now, when I was working, my first job, I was working there for 3 years. Like I said, it was minimum wage, 20 hours a week. Um, but I wasn't just doing that. I was also doing Uber too. I was driving for, as an Uber driver. And so that's another thing that I would recommend too for anybody who is working, but they're either working part time or they're working full time and still have some extra time on their hands. Driving Uber or Lyft or any one of those, gig economy jobs, those are great ways of monetizing your free time. Of course, they don't pay very much, but if you're not doing anything else with your time, you might as well do that too. It's just going to make it so you can, because you have a lot of money that you're going to need to save. It helps you get there even faster.
Okay. Good question there, Zab 19AA. I also would say, a bank loan also might be good for you, especially if you have a very good credit score. But to be honest with you, I'm not really into taking loans out and being in debt to someone or something, because it can go horribly wrong. I'm more of a person where you work hard to make your money, but make your money through stocks, crypto. Don't just break your back, doing hard jobs to make the money. Be smart with your money. It's not about working hard, it's about working smart. So if you can, make the money you need through stocks and crypto to get into real estate, that's an avenue for you, Zab. Or you can get a bank loan, but make sure that you have a very good credit score before applying for that bank loan, because you will get rejected. Would that be possible avenues for you, Zab?
Yeah, I actually have pretty good credit. I don't know the process how I would even do the loan for. Like I'm a novice at that. I'm relatively new to I've never. I own a condo right now, but the reason why I own it is my grandmother left it to me, so I'm fortunate with that. But as far as like, how would the process go? Going to the bank and getting a loan for a property.
Yeah, this isn't the stream for it, brother. But what I will say to you, brother, if you can please join the Facebook group, and then make the post there, brothers. We do have some brothers that do real estate stuff. They'll get into you, but David can actually drop a little bit of information on that. Do you have any points on that, David?
Yeah, so I
so not to cut you off, but how about this? Like, if you're a regular dude and you want to get into real estate, what will be step one?
Step one is definitely saving money. So, however you choose to do that, it's going to involve some kind of sacrifices, whether it's earning more or spending less. I don't know if you heard, but I'm living at home with mom and dad right now, so that helps with the cost for sure. But yeah, you're just gonna have to make whatever sacrifices it takes to save that money. And that saving the money is the hardest part for sure. Everything else is pretty trivial in comparison to that.
Yeah, good point, David. You're gonna have to make some sacrifices in your life, Zab. Whether it's you, not even a sacrifice. Some better things in your life. Whether it's you getting a better job. Going from, let's say, you earning 40K a year in dollars to maybe 80K a year in dollars. And it's good that you have your own property that you actually live in, so you're actually paying off your mortgage every month. You earn something, you're paying it off. Unlike rents, where you're just wasting money away during rents, but most of us rent here because that's how it is in the property market. So there are avenues for you, Zab, and I don't like hearing brothers. It makes me upset when I hear brothers are not educated in finance and making money for different avenues, which is why I have platforms like this to speak about stocks, crypto, and real estate. But Zab, yes, all I say, read up on real estate knowledge. I'm sure there's many websites out there that can help you out and get you started in real estate, what you need to do. But I would say, brother, if you can just make sure you read more, be more educated in finance, and then maybe change some circumstances in your life. Maybe you have to save more, you spend less, or get a better job. So hopefully that helps you out, Zab, if that's okay, bro.
Yeah, I'm a little familiar with cryptocurrencies. I mess around, but I use Robinhood when I do it because it's just easier for me. I don't like using Coinbase and things like that. So what I do is when I get my paychecks, I put like a percentage of it in different cryptocurrencies. Trying to grow it that way.
That's good. Yeah. Ethereum. I'm big on Ethereum. Whenever I invest, I like to invest in stable stocks or stable currencies, things that I know that are well respected. I'm not too big on altcoins. If I was a new investor right now in crypto, it'd be Ethereum, Cardano, Theta, maybe some Bitcoin, but I'd probably buy like £100 in it every month, and then a few other coins, and that's it. I don't want to like keep doing all these altcoins like Solar because it is a very volatile market. It's like penny stocks. You can lose it all in one go. But yeah, bro, you're in the right track, brother. And the Discord server, which is coming very soon, will have real estate materials, crypto materials, stock materials. So I'm trying to make it very detailed as possible, and that will definitely help you, Zab 19AA. So is that okay, brother?
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Thank you, brother, for calling in. Put yourself on mute, Zab. I'll get back to you later on. Yeah, brother, if you're enjoying this live stream, feel free to send through super chats. That'd be greatly appreciated to support the channel and what I do. It's a lot of hard work on my end, reaching out to people, setting up streams, technical stuff as well, making sure I have enough internet bandwidth to actually do streams like this late in the night. So it's costly. So super chats will definitely help with the movement. And thank you very much, brothers. Let me bring in Wealth Engineering. How you doing, Wealth Engineering? You okay, brother?
Yes, I'm okay. Can you guys hear me well?
Loud and clear, brother.
Perfect. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you, David, for joining in the panel tonight to dropping this game. And a shout out to everyone on the panel as well. So I was listening back, and again, I really enjoyed this stream. I will to answer to add more context to what Zab was saying. I'm very familiar with basically crypto and other investment as well. I even tried real estate. Real estate was the first type of investment I tried, but just like you, I found it not only hard to save but also hard to start. And there's many different strategies you can start. I think JP Muscati was talking about that last stream. I tried a lot of these strategies. Later, I wanted to do more the same approach as David, but again, the capital is really there, and you have to just have a good saving, just like you were saying earlier, and also start with learn how to leverage credit, basically. But it could be a game where you kind of need to be on a certain level to play it. So as a newbie, you might feel like it's very overwhelming. The way I see real estate is not necessarily a place to make money, but more of a place to keep money. So
Mm.
basically, when you're starting, and let's say you're an average Joe, you're making $50,000 a year, you can actually use a job, just like you were saying, David, go on Uber, make extra income, and or learn a new skill to increase your high value skills, and therefore you can ask for more income, and then later try to save that money. So, however, and I recommend not just a saving account at the bank, but actually get your saving to work for you. So either you're saving it by buying a stock like Tesla, or buying a stock that is like Vanguard, like you're referring to, David. These are great ways to invest. So you can actually every paycheck you put a minimum amount, you put it on a stock, and then actually as the market is going up, your saving are also going up, and then when you have enough, then you can start a real estate game, and then use that as a way to keep that money that you've been saving on a less risky investment as opposed to the stock market, and just repeat that same wheel over and over again until you engineer your wealth. So that's basically what I wanted to mention. And again, I'm very happy, David, that you brought this. And my questions are more related to cash flow, but you already answered that. And yes, that's and again, IP. Whenever you're ready, we can do another stream on cryptocurrencies. I'm very down for that.
Yes, please, definitely. I think after the stream I do next week on cryptocurrency, I'll reach out to you, JC. We'll do another one the following week or in 2 weeks later, and then we'll get more intel about crypto. Like I said, I don't want black men to be missing out on the cryptocurrency boom. I was speaking to a friend of mine a couple months ago. He was telling me international cryptocurrency is the fourth industrial revolution. There's going to be a lot of millionaires through crypto. And Lord willing, it'll be a lot of black men because, again, we've been screwed over by racism, by lack of opportunities in our community, by Jim Crow, by discrimination in schools and colleges, and we cannot be left behind again. So I'm looking forward to that, bro.
Of course. And yes, just to kind of bridge the gap with real estate as well. Another cool thing, like 2 years ago, one of the greatest thing that was starting in crypto was how to move the bank system into the crypto world, kind of like how to borrow money using the cryptocurrencies, how to like pay your bills using cryptocurrencies. So now we're actually developing all these ideas into products that people can use. And then there is something else that is starting now that is, I think, in 2 3 years from now will take expansion, and it's basically real estate and cryptocurrencies.
Mm.
So the cryptocurrencies is such a revolutionary, and like you were saying, the fourth revolution. I think it's part of that, of course. Like for example, imagine if you buy a building, and then you basically have the ledger of that condo or of that building in the cryptocurrencies. So instead of selling your entire building, you can sell it in part, because you don't. So instead of selling it for $100,000, you might want to sell it for like 100,000, and you might sell it for more people. And whenever the rent comes in, the rent is being distributed to more people, and not just you, but it just makes it easier for everyone to access the wealth, as opposed to only the ones that have the money to start. And that's the next game that is starting. And I think in 2 years from now, we're going to hear a lot more people talking about that. But again, real estate is such a big field that there's so many possibilities, but real estate will definitely move there as well. And I think that's the future of real estate.
Absolutely. Thanks for that comment, JC Wealth Engineering. Much appreciated, brother. Shout out to Naeem. Shout out to Naeem Abdul Ayad for the $4 super chat. Another regular supporter. He says 100% flames. Shout out to Naeem. Thank you, bro. Hope you're keeping well, Naeem. I'm happy that this stream is helping you out, brother. Another regular supporter, bro. God bless you. And God bless everyone watching the stream and in the panel. Let's get this money, let's get wealthy, let's help each other out, share knowledge, and let's thrive as a community within the passport community. This is a new community, a small community where, again, passports, stocks, crypto, wealth for us to better our lives, and of course, foreign women. Shout out to Naeem. Let me bring in obstacles to opportunity. It's been a long time, my Israeli brother. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, family?
Damn, where you been?
Oh man, out here in Israel, but hey, good news, man. Just dropping it out for you, man. You the first one to hear it. I'm gonna leave Israel. I'm going to Mexico City. So shout out to Mexico City. We will be touching down next month.
Yes, brother. Are you moving there permanently?
Yeah, I'm gonna be moving there for about 2 years, maybe.
2 years. Wow. What made you make that move to Mexico City opportunity?
Man, well, this year has been a long year, rough year in Israel. They got that beef, East Coast, West Coast beef out here. And then nevertheless, I was just like, you know what, it's time to switch it up. I've been out here total probably about 2.5 years. So Mexico City, great culture, great food, amazing food. The geography is just diverse. You could be in the mountains and the beach, just a quick flight or a quick road trip. So there's so much upside to go into Mexico City specifically. So I'm headed to Mexicano.
Awesome, bro. Have a safe journey to Mexico City. When you touch down, bro, let me know. I'll give you a call personally to see how things are going, and we shall move on from there. Opportunity. Opportunity. Do you have any questions for David Najera?
Yeah. So, I came in later in the actual program. So excuse me for that. So David, I would ask the question. I know you talked about saving up money. At that time, did you know about any, let's say, state, city, county grant programs that would help you get into that first home?
The only thing that I knew about was the FHA loan. It's a loan, meant for first-time home buyers, and from what I know, the benefit is that it gives you one of the lowest down payments out there. I think that's 4.5%, and that's what I used. Most people who buy their first home, they use that too.
Bad. Yeah, that's one of the things I try to highlight to give to people that, like the last guy said, he's regular, smegular, whatever he said, right? Is to use that FHA, like you just said, and then also just type in Google first time home buyer, Baltimore, first time home buyer, Maryland, first time home buyer, Chicago. And then once you type that in, there's going to be those state grants that are right there. All you have to do is take some like simple 6-hour course online, and then boom, and then the lender knows how to utilize that, and then basically they're going to help you with that down payment. So that 3.5, you can get a 5% grant, and you're not paying 3.5, and then you have 1.5 to apply to closing costs. So it's definitely a underused government or social benefit that most people just don't even know about, don't even use at all. So if you
Yeah,
use both of those, I mean, you're getting into property with no money in the deal.
yeah, the FHA loan. That's not a grant. That's actually a federal program.
No. I'm talking about something different though. So I know
Yeah,
the
right.
FHA. You got the FHA financing, right? Boom.
Yeah.
That's 3.5. Then you type in to your county, whatever, your state, you put in first time home buyer program. And then those programs, you go through those programs, and they're going to provide you with the money for down payment and closing costs. So if you're doing FHA, that's the financing you're getting. But then the state's going to come in and give you the down payment money and the closing costs money. And it could be
Yeah,
5%, 3% grant towards
that's a good
that.
idea. I never heard about grants for that kind of thing, but yeah, I wish I would have known about it. I definitely would have applied it if I had heard about it. That almost reminds me of the grants you can get when you're going to your university. It's one of those things where
Yeah.
you might as well just look and apply. If there's something out there, it's going to be free money anyways.
Yeah, exactly. Free money. And most people don't. Most people just, kind of just, they do know about the FHA or just a conventional, right?
Right.
And they just go about it. But a lot of state programs. They don't got no good advertisement. Like, when's the last time you remember like a state program advertising?
Right, right. Yeah,
So
no,
yeah,
thanks for sharing that. I don't think most people knew about that. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be helpful for anybody who's interested in that.
but thanks for coming on the channel, man, and supporting the group, and then just providing that good real estate information for everybody. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Honestly, I'm happy I just found somebody I could talk to about this stuff. Because like how International was mentioning, this isn't a subject that interests a lot of people. Yeah, I actually stopped, you know, trying to teach people about it. Because every time I would, go and explain to somebody,
Hmm.
what this entails, 2 seconds later, I just see the life die in their eyes, and I'm like, okay, I'm only gonna
Yeah,
teach people who want to learn about it.
yeah, I know. I agree 150%. I had to change
Right,
up
right,
mine because once I learned about it, I was like, oh man, tell everybody. Told all my
exactly.
friends, they were like, yeah, whatever, man. Like,
Yep, yep.
People don't do things they don't understand. That's what I've noticed.
Mhm.
Crypto as well. They don't understand it. They're not going to do it. Same as real estate. They don't understand it. They're not going to invest in it. That's what I've noticed with people. But brothers here, we're open to new ideas and opportunity. I remember the stream we had a couple of weeks ago. That was also a great live stream. So I
Yeah.
appreciate everyone contributing to this knowledge base. Although I'm not American, but I'm happy that it's helping out my American brothers to thrive and succeed. UK, yeah, like this brother said here, in the UK we have nothing like grants and financing. It's very hard to get into property over here if you're not already rich. So in America, there's a lot of opportunities there for Americans. Although it is a racist country, but I find out if you're a black man that works hard, that has his head screwed on straight, keep away from bad people, America will reward you. In the UK, it's very hard to create wealth here. Like the other day, right? I set up a cash app. Brothers were asking me international, set it up. We want to support your channel. I've got problems with that. I've got some stupid problems that won't allow me to accept payments on there. Why is that? There's always problems in the UK in when someone tries to better themselves, there's always a problem there. But in America, it's literally a free economy. Make money, work hard, work smart, and the economy will reward you. That's what I love about America. Although there are problems with it, shootings of black men, oppression, if you work hard in America, you will succeed. Opportunity is an example of that. David is an example. Jay Bones is an example. And plenty of other brothers are examples as well in America. So shout out to Opportunity for calling in, brother.
Yeah, most definitely. And hey, thanks for having me on. And if I could just say something on the outro, just because I'm black and I'm in America. Yo, one of the most important things about anywhere you go, I traveled the world 16, 17 years. And, I read this quote from Rich Dad Poor Dad. It said, quote, the single most powerful asset we all have is our mind. If it is trained well, it can create enormous wealth instantaneously. An untrained mind can also create extreme poverty that can crush a family for generations. End quote.
Yes, thank you for that quote, Opportunity. Opportunity, would you like to do a live stream with me as to why you decided to move to Mexico City? Are you interested, brother?
Yeah, I got you. Of course, I'm always down, ready to, supply information for your channel, man, support you. I most definitely. You hit
Okay,
me
bro.
up, I'm
Yes,
answering. David also hit me up too, man. You can have somebody to talk to real estate about. I love it. Everybody else runs. I ain't got too
For
many
sure.
friends.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
I'll hit
All
you
right.
up, Opportunity, regarding that stream. Okay, brother?
All right, most definitely. Hey, and you're gonna have me on for some crypto, man. I want to give I wanna be the other voice to crypto, man. I'm not gonna hate on it though. I'm not gonna hate on anybody investing,
Oh, so
but
okay. I'll wait for you to call in on Saturday to give your opinions on crypto.
okay.
That should be interesting,
I,
and
I
we'll go
gotta
on
come
from there.
ready though, because I know y'all gonna be ganged up. Y'all gonna have mad people, so it's good. But once again, I'll make a foreclaim. I'm not against anybody making money and investing. I'm just gonna have some different perspectives on it. That's all.
All right, thanks for calling in, bro.
All right, much love. All right, thanks.
Take it easy, brother. Put yourself on mute. Shout out to Conrad Grant for the $5 super chat. He says, Flames IP. Shout out David for sharing this amazing intel. Thank you for the super chat, Conrad Grant. And shout out to David, of course, for taking the time out to drop intel for brothers. He did not have to do it. He reached out to me through the comments. He said, can I come on your show, drop intel? I said yes. So that's good on his part. It showed that he has a good heart. And of course, we reward people here with good hearts. So shout out to David for that. Stranger come knocking. Please call in. You're a UK brother. So I want to hear you speak about the issues we have in the UK in creating wealth. I don't know why it's so hard to create wealth in the UK. So if you can call in, stranger come knocking, speak about your experiences. This is a platform for you. That would be great. And brothers, call in. There's still a lot of space in the panel. If you wanted to ask any questions to David, there's still some time in my stream. So call in, brothers. There's a lot more time left. David, would you like to add in anything else?
Yeah, one thing that came into mind too, and people who aren't too familiar with real estate aren't going to know this, but there's different ways that you make money in real estate. There, of course, I guess the main one that comes to mind is the appreciation. As the value of your house goes up, that automatically means your wealth goes up. Another one too is the cash flow that I mentioned. And of course, with house hacking, there's different ways to increase that cash flow. Another way too, and it's kind of, sometimes you'll hear people say that a house is like a piggy bank, like a big piggy bank that you live in. And the reason they say that is because every month when you pay your mortgage, part of that is you're paying off the loan itself. So imagine, somebody says in 30 years I'm going to give you $350,000, which is essentially what I took out as a loan. Now every month, part of that is going as a payment to that. So as you pay that down every month, that's essentially your way of saving your way to the total of the mortgage. And I'll give you an example too. Generally, as you go and you pay off your mortgage throughout the 30 years, the amount that you're paying every month towards that principal increases by a little bit. So, so right now my mortgage is $2,000. About almost $600 of that is principal payback. So in other words, the rest of that is for, paying the bank their interest, essentially where they're making the money. So that's a bigger chunk of it for right now because I'm just starting off. But that $500 to $600, that's essentially money that goes towards my equity. So I can calculate however much money I'm saving up for my job from the cash flow, but I can also add in also from the appreciation of the house, but I can also add in that principal payment every month too. That's also part of how your wealth increases with real estate.
Awesome. All right, thanks for that point there, David. Any new callers? If not, I'll end the stream early. So new callers, call in. I've got time this morning in the UK to speak more about real estate. So call in. There's still some time. Wealth engineering, do you want to add anything else?
Yes, I just have one question for David. So I was wondering, is there one number for you, like when you get in cash flow, that will make you feel comfortable, or that you will feel like you can retire? Like, what is that number? Is it like $3,000 a month or 5,000? Like, what do you think in your mind? Once you hit that number in real estate, where like every month you get that same number, that you feel comfortable that you can retire?
Yeah, another good question. So it kind of depends on where I'm going to be living. See, if I move abroad, my number can be lower because my cost of living is going to be lower. So for moving abroad, I'm pretty frugal. I'm going to say about 1,500 to 2,000. Now, if I was going to live here in the States, which I don't think I would for too long of a time, that would be more like $3,000. So right now I'm making 1,000 to 1,100 a month. I'm pretty close to being there. After I buy my house next year in San Antonio, Texas, I'm planning to make about another $1,000, maybe a little bit less. But with that, it'll be about a combined $2,000. At that point, end of next year, I can essentially retire right then and there. I can work, but it'll be optional. I won't need it to sustain myself.
Oh, hold on. So you're going to buy a place in San Antonio, Texas, but you're still paying off your mortgage for your property in California. So
Yep.
Are you allowed to buy a new property while you're still paying a mortgage off for a different property? Is that allowed in America?
You can buy as many houses as you can afford.
And
It's a
also
beautiful place.
still be paying mortgages for both properties every month.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh.
So this is kind of how it works, and I think there's a few different ways to do it too. But the way that I'm going to do it is the income that I have from this first house. I'm going to use that to help qualify me for the second house. So essentially, they're going to see that when I go to apply for that second house in Texas, they're going to see, well, wait a minute, you already have another mortgage. Like that's part of your debt, right? So essentially, the rent that I get from that property, from the first one, is going to pay. It's going to be used to pay down, or how should I say this? It's going to be used to offset the mortgage from the first house. So essentially, as long as I still have a job, I'll be able to qualify for that house in Texas. Does that make sense? How the income, as long as I have it rented out, the income kind of cancels out the mortgage.
And
Yeah.
why? Oh, carry on.
That's essentially that's the main idea behind it.
And why are you buying a property why are you buying a ticket property in San Antonio, Texas? What's your reasons for that?
The reason being that, you know, prices are just too expensive here in San Diego for me to buy another one here. House hacking is a bit more expensive here too. Yeah, you can rent out rooms individually like I did, but in order to really get, you know, the full effect, you'd have to do something like convert a garage into its own apartment studio. But in Texas, because the prices of houses are so much lower in comparison to the rent, all I would have to do to still be able to make good money is just buy the house and rent out the rooms individually. That I'm also thinking about Airbnb. It's another way, I guess you can kind of categorize that as house hacking. I can convert the garage over there into its own apartment studio, but I don't even think I'll need to. I think I'll be making enough with the rent over there. Like, I'll give you an example. So prices of houses in San Antonio is like $250 on average, but the price for a room for rent is almost the same as it is over here, about, you know, $600-700, something like that. So essentially, you're cutting down your cost to buy a house by more than half, but you're still getting the same amount of income. Like, for me, it's just a no-brainer to buy the second house over there.
That's fantastic, David. Any new callers for this stream? If not, I'm going to end the stream in 5-10 minutes if no one new calls. I would like for a stranger to come knocking to call because he's a UK brother, and I'd like for him to talk about his experience living in the UK and why it's so hard to acquire wealth in the UK in the real estate market. That'd be great. Darwin, Justin, you can call in as well. Russian Spy, Sleazeball, call in. Aaron B, Ford Farlane, call in as well. If no one calls in within the next 5-10 minutes, I will end the stream. Brothers, feel free to support the channel through Cash App. No, sorry, Cash App isn't working. Feel free to support the channel through Super Chats at the moment. My Cash App is currently not working. I'm trying to fix that, but Cash Apps are working. No, what the? Cash App is not working, but my Super Chats are working. So please feel free to Super Chat to the channel. Also hit the like button. That would be fantastic. I see J Bones. Let me add him in. How you doing, J Bones? Someone's Anthony Thomas. I wouldn't invest in, I don't know, Eastern Europe. Very unstable region in the world. Very unstable and very racist as well. You know, I'm not sure about investing in Eastern Europe. But calling Anthony Thomas to plead your case, brother, that would be great. What's up, J Bones? Do you want to add anything else to the conversation?
Yeah, and Anthony's reaching. Anthony's reaching with that one. Anthony, bro, you reaching with that, man. It's unless you're working for MI6, bro, stay away from situations like that, man. Anthony said I'm invested in Eastern Europe. No, bro, don't do that, man.
Nah, man.
Don't do that.
That would go very wrong.
you would have better chance of trying to convince a black woman in America to lose weight. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that, Anthony. But yeah, David, what part of what's his name? Oh, is that JC Wealth?
Yeah.
Oh, JC, what's going on, big bro?
Hey, not much. What's up?
Not much, man. Sac passe.
Nabule.
Yes, sir. David, what part of San Diego do you live?
I live in East Chula Vista, and I bought my house in. Are you familiar with San Diego? It's kind of a hard place to describe where it's at.
I just left I left San Diego a couple of months ago because what's his name? One of my brothers actually, one of my cousins, he's like a brother to me. He lives close to Little Italy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's in the Navy, so he's pretty much everywhere. But he was he does a little bit of real estate himself, and he's really into it. But he owns more properties in Virginia. So yeah, but I was in what's his name? I was in San Diego. It's such a it's such a breath of fresh air. I love San Diego, man. It's so dope. It's expensive, but it's a really great place to live.
Honestly, we have a lot going for us. It's kind of like we have a lot of the benefits of LA. You know, good
Yeah.
weather, good food.
Less traffic.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
traffic here is
less.
bad, but it's nothing. If I ever feel bad about the traffic here, I just remember driving through LA, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? This
Exactly.
isn't that bad.
I'm telling you, bro, David. I was so surprised because I've been to LA before. Like I stayed in LA for like 2 months, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, San Diego is pretty dope, man. Because in LA, you can get stuck in traffic for 4 hours.
It's ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know how
yeah.
people do that.
Yeah, you can literally buy gas at the gas station and then drive into traffic in LA, and all the gas would just burn off.
The traffic and the homeless people. Like
Yeah.
we have a pretty bad homeless problem as it is, but I mean, you drive through LA and it's sad how much you see.
Yeah. Well, you can blame Governor Newsom for that nonsense. He's just a real character.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping he gets recalled, but we'll see.
Yeah. It's pretty cool though. I hope San Diego does not turn into another Skid Row project, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think San Diego is gonna turn into that situation. But yeah, I love San Diego, bro. Like it's so many places because at some point in time, you know, IP, David, you know, the brothers here, man, when, you know, God willing, we get to where we need to get to in life, we're going to have to pick a place that we want to live.
Yes.
And I never really thought I wanted to live in America when I become financially successful. But when I came to San Diego, I started looking around. I'm like, I might want to live here. Like, I might want to live here, bro. There's a lot of things to do over there, bro.
You know, another big one too is I believe San Diego has either the best or one of the best weather, like, you know, climates in all of the United States.
Pretty
And
much the world. The world. Pretty
honestly,
much.
like
Yeah.
it's like consistently like 75 degrees. Here.
75 degrees. Yeah. That's
It's
pretty
like
much it.
78 degrees and it feels a little hot. Like this is one of the bad things because we have like really good weather here, right? If I go anywhere else, I'm like spoiled with weather. It either feels too hot or too cold. So that is one of the bad things about at least being from here is you get used to the good weather. Like anywhere else just feels like it's either.
I love San Diego, bro. I was so surprised when I was like, there's everything there in San Diego. There's beautiful women and great food.
Mexico, you got TJ, like, you know, 30 minutes away.
Tijuana is literally when I was actually in college, I went to what college did you go to?
I went to SDSU.
Oh, you went to San Diego State?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, shout out to Kawhi Leonard then. Shout out to Kawhi Leonard. You know Kawhi Leonard went to SDSU, right?
No, I don't. Who's that? I don't know who that is.
Kawhi Leonard, the basketball player, the MVP.
I'm not really into sports.
Oh, okay, yeah. He went to Well, he's basically one of the best basketball players ever. But he went to San Diego State. He actually left there his sophomore year to go pro. But shout out to Kawhi Leonard. He went to San Diego State. When I was in I went to Notre Dame. So when I was in Notre Dame, I used to come down to Stanford to kind of hang out with some of the boys down there. One of my friends used to play on the soccer team, so. We used to come to San Diego, and one of my boys was like, yo, let's go jogging. And I'm like, what? He's like, let's go jogging. And I was like, jogging for what, man? Like, we're on vacation. He said, no, come on, man. You know, soccer plays and all that jogging stuff. So I was like, yo, let's go jogging. I said, all right, cool. He was like, all right, you got your passport? I said, passport? Why do I need my passport to go jogging? He said, trust me, just bring your passport. So we started jogging, and after like the first 30 minutes, I'm like, hey, are we in Mexico? He said, yep. I was like, oh, God. I said, oh, my. He was like, yeah, we're in Mexico. He said, so that was like the thing. He was like, dude, I literally jog into Mexico like every morning. I said, wow, that is so cool. That is dope, man. That's like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. He just literally jogging into another country and then jogging right back out. I was like, wow. But yeah, man, shout out to San Diego, man. That's a real. I pray to God San Diego does not turn into another LA, because it is IP. When you come down here, man, I'm gonna take you to San Diego, man. You will love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man.
Sounds like that's a nice place to be at, San Diego. But basically, are the women checking for brothers over there in San Diego?
San Diego is one of the most stable, relaxed place. There is it's damn near illegal to be racist in San Diego. It's a very ultra liberal place. Everyone pretty much gets along with each other in San Diego. From what I remember and my experience there, it's a very, like, Spanish people date black people date white people, Asians date Hispanics, blind people date birds dates pigeons date deers. Like it's it's a very, very, you would barely hear any arguments going on in San Diego. Like everybody's super relaxed, and probably it's because of the atmosphere. You know, it's great weather. Whenever you live somewhere there's great weather, there's bound to never be any trouble. Like it's always, everybody gets along with each other in San Diego very well, very, very, very well.
Oh, I think I
I
need to
can
check out
attest to
that
that. People
place.
here are generally pretty nice and friendly. You know, it's a big city, but you do, find that you can go talk and have a random conversation with people. They tend to be more open to that kind of thing. And it's also it's very diverse here too. Like you
Very
have
diverse.
pretty pretty big mix of different cultures and ethnicities and all that.
How would
yeah,
they,
like-
David? How would they treat a UK brother in San Diego?
Well, we like everybody except people from the UK, so I'm sorry to
Oh.
tell you that.
What?
No, I mean,
Some
especially the
accent?
accent. Yeah, especially with the accent, you're gonna get people, and especially girls who are gonna want to chat you up.
Yes.
The girls are gonna love. Trust me, IP. The girls are gonna love. I'm gonna tell you this. Here's how much the girls are gonna love you, IP. Girls in San Diego like guys from Canada. So if those lames are coming down here from Canada getting girls, trust me, once you get here from the UK, girls are going to love. Girls love. I hear that a lot of the English boys that come down from Canada into San Diego, a lot of them do very well with the chicks there. Yeah, so you're gonna sweep. Yeah, you're gonna sweep up, but most likely you're probably gonna be catching more of the white girls though.
So no black woman or Asian woman.
Well, they have a mix of everything in San Diego, but more of the time, the white girls are definitely going to be. They're going to be the ones to approach you first.
It depends too on where you go. If you go more towards the like the northern half of the city, definitely more of a white population. But if you're down where I'm at, southern half, it's going to be, of course, a bigger majority Latinos.
The Hispanic population here.
Hispanic population. There's also going to be a lot more Filipinos, Asian, but mostly Filipinos too.
Yeah.
Whereabouts is that in San Diego? You said, David?
I would say more so in the bottom half of it. You're gonna find them all throughout, but just generally they tend to be more in the southern half of it.
If you go to La Jolla, there's a lot of Hispanics there, and not a lot, but you'll find some Hispanics there. And one of the best places also to go is Mission Beach and Pacific Beach. That place, it's great food. One of the things I love about San Diego, the boardwalk there. In Jersey we brag about boardwalks. Oh my God! In San Diego, you literally can walk on a boardwalk for 5 miles. You just be walking in
Pacific Beach. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. You'll be walking on the boardwalk for 5 miles. Literally for 5 miles, you just be walking on the beach, like literally 5 miles on the boardwalk.
Thanks for that, brothers.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to bring in Mr. International. In the meantime, Aaron B and Russian Spy Sleazeball, this beef you have, sort it out. Sort it out outside of my streams. Take it easy, brothers. Stop arguing on my live stream comments. You need to sort it out somewhere else on IG or Twitter, not on my platform, okay? I don't want to start timing out people. Can we just stop it? Stop beefing out. Avoid each other. Don't at each other. From now on, just leave it as it is, okay, brothers? No more. Let me bring in Mr. International. He keeps logging off. What's up, Mr. International? You keep jumping out and jumping in.
Yeah. I keep clicking that red X by accident. How you doing?
Okay. Not too bad, Mr. International. I'm all right, brother. How you doing? You okay?
I'm good, man. I just gotta say, all right. So there's only a few places in the world, that have. Well, of course, South America itself, and there's like Spain and other places. There's real good tropical places, but like San Diego is like the best climate city in America. IP. Let's just get that straight. It is because I don't know if it's Colombia or Costa Rica. The reason why I was talking about international places, Costa Rica or Colombia, it's called the land of eternal spring, and that's because year round it's spring weather. It's the 78s and all that. San Diego.
That brings me to a point that I'm going to mention tomorrow in the next stream. But yeah, I think you're talking about Medellin, Colombia. That has the nickname City of Eternal Spring. And I will say that out of all the places I've been to, that's the only place that had comparable weather to San Diego. I might even say a little bit nicer.
Hey man, I've been on IP channel for a long time. You know I'm not gonna come on here talking some bull crap, but I'm trying. So listen, IP San Diego is like the paradise. It's like give me Hawaii is far off. It's off the mainland, so that's kind of what takes off the attraction. But see, San Diego, if you live in San Diego, like you got money, like certain like places, it's like come on, it's like the best high class, like my man J Bone said, you know, people could be openly racist because everybody made it in San Diego. If you're in San Diego and you're broke, you don't want to be there because that's a paradise. You're getting sea straight off the water. San Diego, if I'm correct, is a military port, so of course they got to keep it up. You know what I mean? They got to, so you know what I mean. It's the best place. Better shoot. I mean, Miami might be as tropical and stuff like that, but it got that you people want to retire in San Diego.
Mm.
People, even with all this stuff going on, global warming hits the world, right? San Diego would just become Miami in a way. Oh, what, 86-degree weather in San Diego now year long, or what? 90
That
degree?
sounds kind of hot to me.
Whoa. That's
86
what I'm
sounds
saying.
a little on the warm side of me.
That's
Do you
what
have
I'm
any?
saying. Whoa, you know what I mean? And
Do you
IP,
have any?
you would flourish. You would flourish there. Let me get that there. You'll flourish there because come on, it's like I'm not gonna say it's like London or something, but I'm just saying like it's the place to go. You know what I mean? If you're a high value man, you're gonna run into probably the beautifulest beach babes and all types of stuff. Nightlife is great, and I haven't
Oh,
even been there. And to tell me, David, if I'm lying, then tell me.
No, you're right. That picture that you see of me, that's with Coronado in the background. That's actually my favorite beach. There's actually a Navy base right next to it, so it's cool because you have a good view. It's a beach, but you're also as you're there, you're seeing these jets and these helicopters just doing drills and landing. It's an amazing place, really.
Yeah, I'm gonna say one more thing, IP. When I was a kid, I like there was a few, like I said about the Costa Rica thing, looking around the map, and I was like, wait, Costa Rica? That sounds like because the abbreviations of PR and DR. I was like, CR, what's Costa Rica? That's what got me interested in Costa Rica and stuff like that. But San Diego was always a place I was looking at all the temperatures, like, and as a kid, you know, even though our learning system is messed up, there are some good teachers that teach, you know, Americans like good information and knowledge. So I'm looking at all the temperatures around these states and cities, and San Diego is just like it doesn't get better than that.
oh, all right. Thanks for that, intel, Mr. International. Do you have any questions regarding property to David before I move on to the next caller? Or are you good, bro? You good?
Nah, I'm gonna double back and watch it because I came on late. But
Okay.
yeah, I you know I got that mindset. I'm trying to be in real estate and all that type of stuff. So yeah.
All right. Thanks for that, Mr. International. Put yourself on mute, brother. Of course, we have one fool, one devil that's disliked the video. How can anyone dislike this video? Some people are sick in the head, but who cares? F the haters. We'll carry on as brothers and we'll thrive individually and collectively. Stranger come knocking. How you doing, my UK brother?
Yo, what's good? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, brother. How you keeping? You okay?
I'm all right. You good, man?
Yes, I'm good. Are you a new viewer to my channel, brother?
Nah, I've been downloading your stuff and listening to your stuff at work for a good couple months now, man.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. I love hearing that, bro. I love hearing that. Yo,
Yeah.
so where you from in the UK?
London, South,
London. Whereabouts in London?
Peckham.
Peckham. Oh, South London. Oh, yeah. I know South London very well. Very, very well. Yeah, bro. Thank you for calling in. This is a very important stream regarding
Yeah.
real estate. And I know that it's American centric because David's from America, J Bone's American, and the rest American or Canadian, and there's a relationship between those two countries. But speak about, I don't know what you do. So tell me what you do, stranger come knocking, in terms of, are you a student, are you working, and do you have any aspirations to get into real estate?
Yeah, I'm working. I work in a warehouse at night. We load up like trucks for various supermarkets and that around in the local area. And
Okay.
yeah, that's me.
And do you have any plans to get into real estate?
Yeah, I would like to, but like I was saying, man, the UK there's very little opportunity. The government don't really have like a lot of programs and stuff to help you out,
Mm.
especially if you're not born into money.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to say to like US bros is that, in UK, like this is where capitalism started, but before that we had feudalism, medieval times. And in those times, like you was born into your place in society. You had to know your place. And for the most part, it's kind of, it hasn't really changed much, in my opinion. You know what I
Mm.
mean? If you're not born into some money, if you don't have no connections, man, it's very hard. There's no grants and financing, and you know what I mean?
Mm.
You're just on your own.
You're on your own. You have to work very hard to pull in all sorts of money legitimately from
Yeah.
any source. It's very hard. Like in America, right? I've seen the poorest of the poor become very rich because they took
Yeah.
advantage of their opportunities in America. In the UK, it's very unlikely to actually see that. You have to be obviously born in a rich family, and you
Yeah.
also have to have your mindset must be very focused on I'm going to make it out. I'm going to make it out because again, mindset is very important in the UK because a lot of brothers fall into the trap of drugs, gangs,
Yep.
shooting, stabbings, and there's a lot less opportunities here in the UK. And let me give you one example. Let's talk sports, right? Let's talk sports. In America, there are different avenues to become a professional sports person, or at least get a scholarship to do sports at a university
Right.
and do a good degree at university. So that might be basketball, soccer, or football for Americans. Sorry, soccer for Americans, but we call it football in the UK. There's also like American football, there's baseball, there's even rugby, there's lacrosse, there's hockey, but we don't have that opportunities in the UK. I've noticed that these
Yeah.
the scholarship opportunities, in the UK that will allow you to actually study at university, but they're paying for you. You get
Right.
a free ride at university, and you have a good degree. We don't have that in the UK. That's one example as to why America has a lot more opportunities than the UK. Because just speaking about sports in general, we don't have that kind of scholarship opportunities. Do you agree with me, stranger?
Definitely. Like even with myself, like I'm trying to look into getting into a trade, like maybe carpentry or welding or something. And there's just nothing out here, man. There's just, bro, like everything I've looked at is outside of London. So I have to travel a couple hours out. And obviously I gotta work, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So it's very, very difficult. That's why in the chat I'm saying, like, is it possible for me to somehow go to the US and make something happen? 'Cause nothing ain't happening over here, bro.
Yeah, I can vouch for a stranger come knocking. It's very hard as a black man, in the UK. You know, um,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as a trade school here in the UK, like compared to America. Trade school is
IP.
something like an apprenticeship. What's up, J Bones?
I'm sorry to hear this situation, man, because David and Mr. International, man, I'm pretty sure they can back me up here. I feel really sorry for the brothers over there in the UK, man, because there's a lot of lost potential. I didn't know things were so tough for you guys like that. So is it the whole UK? Is it you can't find jobs in Scotland or Ireland
Bro,
or anything like that? Is the whole thing?
bro,
It's the whole UK. Oh, go on, stranger.
yeah, we in, like, I think, are you in London, IP?
I'm just outside of London, but I know London very
Yeah.
well.
I mean, I'm in London, and I'm talking about how bad it is, right? And this is the capital city where like everything is, where the money is. So you can just imagine how it is like further up north in like Newcastle and Leeds and them kind of places there for like the average guy walking around.
Yeah, we
It's better
feel
off
for
in
you.
London.
We feel for y'all too, man.
Yeah,
Everybody in London,
we
we
feel
feel
for
for you.
y'all definitely. Hold on, Mr. International. Let me explain this one. We feel for y'all very hard, man, because you know something. I'm nobody. It's important to, especially as black men. I'll say this for real, but just for anybody, because David, I'm guessing with your last name, Hispanic, Latino.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Hmm.
But here's the thing for anybody, try to resist um, sharing information as far as your wealth or how much money you have in your bank account. But IP, man, I feel sorry for you brothers that live over there. I really wish that you guys can find a way to get here. If you can, please do it as quickly as possible, because I'm going to explain something to you. During the pandemic, I left. I work at the United Nations, and the UN. They told us, they said, hey, if you guys want to take government assistance, and because there's no reason for you to be here during the pandemic. So I became a regular civilian. I said, something, I can't go on government assistance because in America you can take all that unemployment you want, but when you turn 65, it's going to smack you back in the face. They're going to get that money back. So with all these Pookies and Ray Rays and all these people in our community, especially in the Black community that take government assistance, they don't know it's going to hit them in the face when they get older. You understand what I'm saying? But I was literally making so much money during the pandemic. The average person now, let me tell you something, without skills between New York and Jersey, you could make $600 a day. Yeah, you can make $600 a day. So it's like, if you brothers can find different ways to get here, just do it, bro. Because trust me, like the way that this money is moving, like on an average daily basis, I don't like to share information. I tell brothers all the time, do not share how much money you make with people. But to tell you the truth, I'll let you in on a little secret myself. One of the things that I used to do, even being the lowest paid, like going to a Ivy League school myself, I'm the lowest paid out of my group, and the lowest paid out of my group for myself, I'm making $500 a day. That's just a normal salary. Like that's a normal thing for me a day. So if you boys can find ways to get down here, please do it as quickly as possible, because without skills, stranger come knocking, without special skills in America, you can still make like $600 living in between New York and Jersey. That's a day.
Okay, but what are you doing though? Or what industry are you in, if you don't want to say?
Absolutely
McDonald's.
absolutely anything. Like Mr. International says, there's places you can go to McDonald's and make that type of money here.
He's right. He's actually right.
You can you can go. I live between New York and New Jersey, but I came up here to I'm in New Hampshire right now. I came up here to speak to one of my friends. He's having a wedding, and it's you go into McDonald's in New Hampshire, they're so short staffed on, they can't find people, so some of them are getting paid $30 an hour. $30 an hour to cook a burger. You understand what I'm saying, bro? So if you guys can find ways to get here, just do it, because at this point, y'all just wasting your time over there in the UK. What I noticed when I go to Ghana, I'm from Ghana. I was born in Ghana, but when I go back home to Ghana, I see all the UK people bragging, talking about, oh, we're from England. But then I notice, I'm like, yeah, but y'all broke. Yeah, most England people are broke. It's like that whole, I'm from the UK. I live in London, but you broke as hell. Most Black people in the UK are broke. You ain't got nothing. They just come down to Ghana, Nigeria, talk about how much they live in England. Well, you live in England, but the Queen is treating you horrible, and you're broke. Most of y'all are broke as hell. You ain't got a dollar to scratch. So if you guys can find ways, I don't know where you're from, stranger, but if you can find ways to get here to America, just do it, bro. Because at this point, we got so many opportunities after the pandemic, during the pandemic. You can't even, they're begging people to come to work, bro. So, just hop on a horse and do whatever you can and try to get down here as fast as possible, bro.
I think I got some family in New York and Florida. Now, how easy is it to get into the US, like as a UK citizen?
Here's what I've heard. It's better. It's when you're saying it with your mouth, it's a whole lot easier than doing it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But showing up is half the battle. Here's what I heard. I heard it's very difficult for you guys to come in from the UK to America. I know usually you can get some sort of what's that thing called? Like it's the temporary visa. It's like a 3-month visitation visa, stuff like that. But here's what I've heard. I can't share too much information with you because I still work for the UN, so I have to be careful with my words. Okay. Here's something I can share with you. Hypothetically, you can go through Canada because it's easier for you guys to go from the UK to Canada. When you get to Canada, what you do is you find a way to slide in. Trust me when I tell you, Montana, Minnesota, over there, up there with all those little liberals and halfway conservatives, they'll let you slide in. You can use that little UK accent of I'm British. You will sliding into America. Once you get here, just stay here. That's pretty much just it. Stay here and do what anybody else has been doing since they've been here. You roam around. You make sure you keep that UK passport on you, because if you have an English passport in America, people respect you. It doesn't matter if you're Black or not. If you're from England and you have an American passport, people respect you. They see you as some sort of a godsend. So you will be able to Yeah, you'll be able to trust me. Mr. International knows what I'm talking about. You'll be surprised how many of these English brothers are in Pennsylvania, and they're doing very well over there too, right, Mr. International? A lot of them over there in like the Poconos working. A lot of them are
Listen,
in Philly.
let's talk about how J Bo's used asking about Ireland and all that. Man, they
Yeah,
got pubs. I live in Lancaster.
yeah.
They got pubs, right? Irish pubs. Yo, the Irish. Oh my God, these guys got their own
They're making
restaurants.
so much money. Exactly. I ran
American
into a
money.
what's his name? Stranger Come Knocking. I ran into one of yours. I ran into a black UK brother. This was about maybe 2 or 3 days back. In the high level districts, basically the rich district in Morristown, New Jersey. He just bought a 7-bedroom house over there in Jersey.
Oh,
Damn.
man.
You understand? Yeah, trust me, you boys. I don't know what you guys are doing over there in the UK. I know it's just the thing about the UK thing, the black people in the UK, it's the bragging rights. You get to Ghana, you get to Jamaica, and it's like, oh, I'm from the UK, but you broke as hell. You ain't got nothing. We know
We got
that.
J-Bones.
Yeah.
We gotta say this important thing, IP, because it's kind of like you know why we lost Vietnam, because Vietnam was an independent country to China. You know what I mean? They're still the Chinese. Don't get
Yeah.
it wrong. Bloodline of generations, they're Chinese. Well, the Americans are the bloodline to the UK. We just got our independence. So we, the District of Columbia, the reason why it's not a state is because, if I'm correct, UK might actually own DC, like
Yeah,
paperwork wise.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, that
The
makes
queen,
sense. But
the
Stranger,
president goes to the
yeah,
president goes to the queen and bows down, like the U.S. president, all the presidents. And all I gotta say is, we look at y'all like
some
what
sort
white
of a
people
high
do.
on a very
Yeah,
high level. Yeah, on a very high level. So
yeah,
just keep
man.
that UK passport when you get here. Trust me, you'll be walking around. Nobody's even going to question you about anything. But like I said, stranger come knocking. If you boys can get down here, just get down here, because you can work menial jobs and still make like 300 to 400 bucks a day. Yeah.
I'm looking to get into a trade though, man, like a proper like.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I think
Let me chime in on that a bit.
as far as
Right.
the trade thing, I'm stranger come knocking. The thing about it is that you have to be realistic. When you get here, unless you're able to navigate your way with, finding, some sort of a cool, calm, level-headed girl that you can settle down with, and then hopefully you can get that paperwork straight. Until then, you're not going to be doing any trades, because you're going to have to go to school. But the good news about it is that if you are looking for a trade, you're black, you can use that, the what's his name? You can use the affirmative situation when you get to college. You can pay 6,000, 7,000, and that's easy money. That's something that you can make in like 2-3 months if you live in America. You can use that to your advantage and get a trade, whether it's electrician. I believe Dimitri, he's in International Passports group. He's in a Facebook group.
Yeah, if you if you join the Facebook group,
Yeah.
ASAP, bro, and post messages on there, people will help try and give you advice, such as Jay Bones. He's also in that Facebook group. But JC, chime in on the conversation. You wanted to say
Yeah,
something.
go ahead, bro. Let me put myself on mute. Go ahead, JC.
Yeah, great game right here. And again, a stranger come knocking. I was listening to what you're saying, man, and I feel you, man. Like, I didn't realize it was this bad. To be honest, I didn't realize it was this bad. But I just wanted to bring a different perspective in this conversation, not just the United States, but also Canada. Like, I live in Canada. I live in Montreal, but I also live in Toronto. And so I can't say much about the US, but I can also say a lot about Canada. And I can tell you, as a European, so it's not even about just UK, as a European, it's very easy to get in Canada, no matter which province you want to go to. Just pick one. Now, in Montreal, they're very fond of, like, I guess most people who abuse that is for the French people, but there's not many UK people there, but you would also be welcome there. And the reason why I mentioned Montreal, it's because you talked about trade. Montreal has the cheapest education system out of the entire North American continent, the cheapest. Let me give you an example. I moved here from Haiti, the Caribbean. I went to college. It cost me $132 per semester for 3 years.
Wow.
Then I went to engineering school. The most expensive I've paid was $1,500. That includes books. That includes my cards. There is subway here. You can take a train, which is underground. Very nice train system. So that was costing me $32 a month. So when you add that with the semester, about $1,500 per semester. That's the most expensive. And I was taking like 5 courses in university. I did 4 years in university. There is 2 universities in English. You don't need to speak any French. You can access the education. And then there is also 2 universities in French. But if you want to go straight to university as a UK brother, then yeah, it's going to be expensive, but still a lot cheaper than the US. But for a trading school, for college, you can go there, man. You can get it's cheapest. And what you can do is you can literally come here. I have so many brothers from Haiti who's doing that right now. They come here, they work in constructions. Constructions, you don't need any skills. Literally, they'll teach you on the job. They're so desperate for finding people because no one wants to do it.
Wow.
Very desperate. Very desperate. Yeah, keep going, Jason.
Millennials right now, they're kind of like, I don't want to say they're the lazy generation, but it's much harder to find millennials right now to become in the construction business, whereas there's a lot of baby boomers that are retiring. And yes, you can make easy $30 an hour as a construction worker. Actually, you like 7 years ago, I was checking. You can make $25 an hour as a garbage man in Canada, in Montreal. So you don't need any skill for that. So, like I said, it's very easy for you guys to come here.
Very
Yeah,
easy.
I
Yeah.
think
IP. I'm sorry. I'm sorry
what's
for a
that,
second.
Javon?
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
IP. Give me. I
Go
have to
on.
address. Sorry about it. I need to address something in the chat real quick. There's a guy named NGTOW. He said, is this dude suggesting that non-FBAs take advantage of affirmative action? NGTOW, you are in the wrong place. Let me explain something to you. JC Wealth is Haitian Canadian. IP is from England. Strong, let me see. What's your name again? Stranger? Stranger is from England
UK.
and he's from the UK. Mr. International is from Philly, and I'm a Ghanaian, an American. You're in the wrong place.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Well, you're in the wrong place, brother. We don't separate. David is Hispanic. We don't do. We're not separating races around here. There's no such thing as FBA. It's just some nonsense that African Americans have made up to make themselves feel special. If you're here on this platform, there's no such thing as black Haitians or black this or black that. We're just all brothers trying to push ourselves to be better. Yeah, I've noticed that a big margin of the African American community are starting to identify themselves as something different. When the police pull up and they shoot you, we're all going to be there to support you.
Oh,
That's
well,
how
hold
things work here.
on, J Bones. Let me address this. NGTOW.
I
Please
don't know
for
what's
me,
wrong with
J Bones. Let me speak to him. NGTOW. You know, I understand what Black Americans go through, and me, you're personally entitled to be an FBA person. I'm not going to knock that against you. You know, you have free will. I'm a conservative. I believe in free speech and freedom of expression. That's cool with me, brother. But please don't come on my platform and try and separate brothers here. You will never hear me separate UK from Black American from Black Canadian. I've always said this: we're all black, we're all brothers, we're all experiencing the same thing worldwide, which is racism, white supremacy. You know, we got the Chinese who don't like us, we got racism in Latin Americans that don't like black people. So we're all in the same mess. So don't feel like we're taking advantage of affirmative action. I'm very much for it. I understand what Black Americans go through, but I won't allow you to separate intelligent brothers here. Whether you're Black American, Black English, Black Canadian, Black Caribbean, Black African, we're all one. So that's my question. That's my answer to you, NGTOW. So I'm gonna time you out for 5 minutes because you're going off a bit. I don't know. You're saying a whole bunch of nonsense. I won't block you. I want you to think about your words very well. You know, understand what I've just said, and we'll go on from there. NGTOW. Okay, brother. Now let me call out. So shout out to Jalil for the $10 super chat. He says, busy studying, but got a drop through to show some love to the passport movement. Shout out to you guys. Keep dropping the knowledge. Thank you very much, Jalil. Hope your studying is going well. Let me know what you're studying, brother. I hope you pass it in flying colors, A+, and get that great job and succeed and thrive in America. Good luck to you, brother.
Good
Let me
luck
just
to you,
speak
bro.
to
Good luck to you, Jalil. Hold on, my bad.
let me,
Is Jalil from is he English? Is he from
no,
England?
no, he's American. He's got the
Oh,
dollar
okay.
sign on his.
Shout out to
Let
Jalil
me
then.
speak to Stranger Come Knocking. Stranger, please join the Facebook group, brother. I understand what you're going through, but as a black man to a black man, I would say please go for a degree. You have to understand that we're not white. You know, I've seen white boys without a degree or just in trade earn a lot of money in the UK. I've seen black people who are very well versed in trading who don't have a degree struggling because they don't have a degree, right? We are in a country where they still don't see us as equal. So we have to make sure that we get qualifications that will allow us to break in any industry. I would recommend you to do a degree. I'm not sure what kind of trade you want to do with construction. There's also a property degree that you can do in the UK or even Canada. So please, bro, a degree is very important. You know, something that will stay with you for life. No one can take that away from you. I know brothers on the panel right now have degrees as well. JC of Engineering has a degree in engineering. J Bones also went to college. I'm not sure about Mr. International. I know for a fact that David went to college as well. I went
I
to
went to
college as
trade
well.
school.
You went to
I
trade
went to
school?
trade
Okay.
school, yeah, for carpentry. So I know what Stranger Coming Knocking is going for. And in the US, you can make like a couple thousand, $15 an hour starting in
Exactly.
as an apprentice.
Exactly.
Again, as a
Yes.
carpenter, you can make like $22, $40. Listen to Union. If Stranger Comes Knocking, it will end up getting his what's it called, his green card or whatever in America from his girl or something, and he does everything right, man, he could get into the Union, and that's the people that built America. I went to trade school, Keystone Job Corp, and that is a government facility. So I got a certificate and letters of recommendations from people in the Union, and these are the people that built. Huh?
Yeah, there's
Stranger
two
Come Knocking.
points I wanted to drop also very quickly, but
hold on, Jason. Let me tell you something. Stranger Come Knocking, Mr. International. That's perfect. Let me tell you something. Stranger Come Knocking. I had a guy come to my house. I actually bought some property in PA, so I go up there from time to time. I had a guy come up. I was having plumbing issues, so I called up the closest plumber and I told him to come to one of my properties to fix the toileting. He came there. He pulled out one pipe and he pulled out another pipe, and then 20 minutes later he was done. And then he gave me a bill for $650. Yeah. Plumbers make a lot of money. And you know what I thought to myself? I went to an Ivy League school and I have a double Ivy League degree. I wasted my time. I should have just became a plumber. Trust me, bro. Yeah, man. Yeah, plumbers, like, going to trade school, you're gonna make a lot of money, brother. So please get down here as possible. Get down here as fast as possible,
want
man.
to say one more little thing, and everybody else could talk. All right, I just want to say one more little thing. Yeah, so like, yeah, man. Stranger Come Knocking. Like, if you get into the Union or even under the table jobs with good companies, man, you could be making $100 an hour. In New York, the carpenters get paid $100 an hour, man. And IP, this stuff is official. The Union has a multi-million, like $40 million headquarters on the Strip of Vegas. Look it up, man. Us brothers are smart. Look up the Union, the UBC, the United Brotherhood of Carpentry. That's just mainstream. There's other organizations just as big, but not as big as the Union, man. The opportunities are endless. So a little job like hard trade or carpentry or something like that, you can become the real Bob the Builder. Put real estate in there if you want. You could become a millionaire, man, or more.
Are you in New York, Mr. International?
Nah, he lives in Philly. He lives in Philly.
I'm in Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth state. You know what Commonwealth state means? That means that if every state went down in America, that Pennsylvania can last by itself.
Barely any taxes. Barely any taxes.
All right, brothers. Let's move on from this topic. It's pretty late in the UK. I need to go to sleep very soon. But Stranger Come Knocking. join the Facebook group. Miss International and Jay Bones and even Wealth Engineering are all in it. So they will help you out. They'll advise you how to get over to Canada or the US. But yeah, it's definitely, I know opportunities here are very hard for Black people, but the US, so hopefully you got some positive vibes from this stream that there's opportunities out there, brother. And all I can say is, keep working hard, brother. And reach out to me on IG as well. I'll call you tomorrow. I'll just speak about your situation, and I'll see what I can help you with as well. If I can speak to anyone on my end that can help you out with something, so call me tomorrow. Just follow me on IG and call me, brother. And what is your AVI? Is that Harley Quinn with Darth Vader?
No, it's Darth Vader and just some random chick.
Oh, that's the most oddest couple ever. But thanks for that.
It's from a comic book.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool though, IP. That I saw that and I was like, yo, that's pretty dope. I like it.
It's nice. I thought she was eating some apple, like like Adam and Eve, the apple that she's biting it from.
That's Darth Vader.
Darth Vader, but it's pretty cool. But thanks for that, Stranger Come Knocking. It's great that you called in. So join the Facebook group, bro. That would definitely be of help to you. And let me go through everyone in the panel for the last closing statement, and I will end the stream. And I will see you brothers tomorrow for the Colombian stream, where David again will be a special guest telling us why he's moving to Colombia. So let me go to Jay Bones for his last closing statement. Is there anything you want to say, Jay?
Yeah, IP man, thanks a lot, bro. I appreciate the versatility situation up here. David is a brother from a different culture. He's being from the Latin culture, but he took time out to come here to help us out, and I really appreciate him coming here to help us out. Definitely, we need to have more conversations like this. I'm very disappointed with the numbers today. I don't know what's going on with brothers, but that's just the thing with us. It's like, whenever it's some petty nonsense, whenever it's I've noticed that with us, IP, is like with Black people, it's like whenever it's some garbage, whenever it's the garbage time, then we show up. But then when it's time to really get work done, as you can see, the numbers are pretty low today. But if you're not here today, then I feel sorry for you, because you missed out on a lot. And shout out to Dave for coming to spend time with us. Hopefully he keeps on dropping in from time to time. Thank you so much for coming. Shout out to my brother JC Wealth, my Haitian brother. It's good to see you again, man. And welcome to the space, Stranger Come Knocking. And I know what you brothers are going through over there in the UK, because I've seen some of these stories, man. That's why I'm saying, IP, man, you guys are way too intelligent to be sitting up in a country like that. Like, I don't know what is going on over there in the UK. I just don't get it, man. It's just disgusting. Like, I hate the idea that brothers are not making money, man, because over here, man, it's like people are begging. Like, people beg. You go outside and people will start begging you to say, hey, can you come to my restaurant and work here? Can you come to the library? We're short on staff. We're short here. We're short there. But, man, I hope you brothers can come here as soon as possible, man. Hold your head up high, man. We'll be praying for you guys. And, IP, thanks a lot, man. You're doing really great work, man. Get the Cash App going. I don't know what happened with that, but get it going as quickly as possible. And we'll be there to support you, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for that, Jay Bones. Appreciate the kind words, brother. Stranger Come Knocking. Do you have any closing statements, brother?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And yeah, man, it looks like Canada's the next stop for me, man. I'm gonna do my research and see what I can do to get in there as soon as possible.
Fantastic, brother. You should join that Facebook group, because they would advise you further onto what to do for your next step in your career. Stranger Come Knocking. So I hope to see you joining the Facebook group, but make sure you have a picture of yourself and your real name, because I don't want to accept any trolls on there. Trolls have tried to go into my group and I blocked them immediately. They tried messing up my group. I won't allow that to happen again. So make sure you get that done ASAP. Okay, bro?
All right, man.
All right, thank you, bro. JC, peace to you, brother. JC Wealth Engineering, do you have anything to contribute?
Yes. Thank you very much again for putting this stream together. Real estate is always my two parents are real estate investors in the Caribbean and also in Canada. So real estate is my first love when it comes to financial freedom, but but I've diverted in so many ways going back, and eventually all roads leads to real estate if you want to be wealthy. So David, thank you for making it very clear, simple, and yes, I learned a lot in this stream about London as a whole, and again, guys, think about it, because it's not just the US, also Canada too. And just to give you an example, since we're talking about real estate, plumbing is one of the most expensive things you can do, and also modeling your kitchen, your bathroom. These are the two assets, the two part in your house that can gain a lot of value in Canada. So, and then just to hire a plumber, it's very hard. Like me for my condo, we've been waiting on a month trying to get a plumber to come here. And then once we modify the kitchen and then the bathroom, we can raise the value up to like $30,000 when we sell it. So it's a skill that is very hard to find. And I have one of my friend in Haiti. He has no diploma, and he's actually making over $100,000 more than me. He's making more than me as an engineer, and he's a plumber. So, and again, think about it, guys. It's very easy to come here, and as a European, and in Canada, in Montreal, anywhere. And there's actually a city that is well known for this. And I wanted to buy some real estate there. It's called Windsor, Ontario. And then it's very close to the border from the US. So there's a bunch of people, investors, they're buying places here. They're renting it short term to people who wants to move into the States. And it's going well. It's going very well. Within 5 months, you can rent it on a month-to-month basis, the whole house. And people are willing to pay very hard money to get access to places there while they wait for their papers to be ready, or while they wait for a contact to reach them in the States. So Windsor, Ontario is very good for real estate for that. And I was actually looking to buy real estate there earlier in my career. But in a nutshell, real estate is definitely one of the means to keep money in your pocket and multiply that with over time. And cash flow is, and again, I'm also surprised the numbers are low, because cash flow is how you fund your freedom. If you guys want to travel, if you guys want the time to travel all over the world, you need to be able to fund all that, and you need to have make cash work for you. And cash flow is the best way to do that. You could do that with the real estate. You could do that with crypto. You could do that with stocks, dividends. So there's many different avenues to do it. But learn yourself some games and the financial system and apply it, and definitely get your freedom, get your passport. With that said, David, thank you again for joining and spending some time with us. J Bones, always great to have you. Stranger, Mr. International, great panel, and IP again. Thank you for your time, and we're looking forward to see more streams from you.
Thank you very much, JC Wealth. Did you say your cousin in Haiti is making more money than you in Haiti?
No, he's actually not my cousin. It's one of the friends I have in Haiti. He barely speaks any French. He moved from Haiti to Montreal, and he's working as a plumber. He tried it just for part-time, but he noticed he was making so much money. He actually decided not to go to school anymore. He learned everything he needed to learn from the job, because people were just showing him what to do, and then he just learned it that way. And now he started his own company with his brother, and then together they're making more money than me. That's for sure. And as plumber, man, I actually hired him to work on my condo, but yeah, he charged me a lot. He charged me $100 just to show up at my door, and that's the friend discount.
That's your friend as well.
That's the friend discount. He charged people more money just to show up at their doors without doing anything, without even pulling his bag. Just so there's a lot of money to be there as trade skills. It's a dying art in Canada. No one wants to do it, so people willing to do it, they're making lots of money.
That's what's up. Hopefully, those comments will encourage stranger come knocking to make that move. I appreciate that, bro. Brothers, feel free to support the channel through super chats, and make sure you please hit the like button. David Najera, thanks for joining the stream. Do you have any last comments you want to state regarding anything real estate, San Diego, traveling, and anything else, and even a prelude to our stream tomorrow regarding Colombia? The floor is yours, David.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to reiterate basically the advice that I gave during this discussion. For anybody who wants to get into real estate, it's fairly simple. It's save money and go talk to a mortgage broker. that's pretty much it. From there, they'll get you started, and you'll see it's not easy per se, but it is a straightforward process. So I would, anybody who's interested, I would encourage you to give it a shot. Other than that, thank you to everybody who listened. Really appreciate you tuning in, hear what I had to say. And you too, IP. Thanks for having me on. I do appreciate you giving me an outlet for, talking about this stuff that isn't very interesting to a lot of people, but it absolutely is beneficial for sure.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, David, for taking the time out to join, to give brothers information regarding real estate and to come on this panel. I'm looking forward to the Colombian stream we have tomorrow, and looking forward to why you decided to move to Colombia, what made you move there, and all the questions I'm going to ask you. So looking forward to that, brothers. So same time tomorrow, brothers, I'll have David on. David will be speaking about why he's moving to Colombia, and that should be a great stream. So I want to say a huge thank you to everyone in the panel again. I want to say thank you to everyone who super chatted during this live stream. Thank you for your support. It is 4 a.m. over here in the UK. I need to go and sleep. So I want to thank everyone again, and I will see you all on the video tomorrow. Have a nice day, everyone, and peace out.
Goodbye. See you then.
All right, see you, mate. See you, everyone.